sometimes, well, okay, they're not successful about the business.
Here's the girl at centre half forward. Apple full forward. There's the bounce down for the 1967 Grand Final. You're watching it on Channel 7. Gillespie going after the ball for East Perth. Gillespie trying to get the first kick of the match as tackle, but gets the boot into the ball. Up into the East Perth territory it goes. Interference and going for the ball in the back, says the umpire. And the kick is going the way of East Perth. He'll be very quickly into attack with the breeze.
An amazing thing, the umpires give a free kick very soon after the start of the game. It happens in Victoria too.
Edwards almost taking the mark, picking up the crumbs as Donkin screwing the ball back on the edge of the goals, and Verstegen picks up the mark about 12 yards out from the goals, directly in front for East Perth, and a great opportunity to bring up full points in the opening seconds of the 1967 Grand Final. Hans Verstegen lines up the shot for the Royals and makes no mistake. First goal to East Perth.
Well, a minute into the Grand Final and Verstegen's brought up East Perth's first goal, and I'm sure this will give this young player great confidence. One of the youngest players on the ground, and if you can kick a goal in your first Grand Final as quickly as that, certainly it helps.
But Verstegen's the second rover, is he?
Second rover, Lou.
The other chap seems to give him a lot of latitude there. You notice that he's standing at least 20 feet away from him. This wouldn't do if I was coach of the side. I'd have him standing right in his hip pocket, Jack.
Should be there, right on him.
Also.
Ruckman are gathered once again. Up they go. Chittleborough and Pitter. Ball comes out to Ray Mills in the centre for Perth. Gets his boot out towards the wing position. It goes. Knocked away by Brio. Cable trying to gather it for Perth. Trying to get it off the ground.
Lou, now that's a controversial decision. A very quick one, holding the ball. Didn't give him much chance to get rid of the ball at all. Freddie?
Well, it's a little bit different to what they have been doing for all the season, Jack, that one.
O'Donoghue sends the ball down to the centre half forward position. And this time the kick is going the way of Perth. And Ramshaw it is to take it from the centre half back position for the Demons. Graham Ramshaw sends the ball out towards the grandstand flank. Eddie Pitter untroubled to take this mark on his chest, and he'll send the Royals back into attack once again. Malcolm Brown breaking from centre half forward. That's the direction of the kick. Brown can't take the mark. Off the ground by Chadwick, up the centre half forward again, taken on the chest by Ramshaw. Has a bounce and caught by Donkin. Handballs over towards Page. Page gets into the clear and drives the ball up towards the half-forward line again now for Perth. Brio gathering the crumbs there, runs straight into an East Perth player, puts the ball onto the ground once again, and umpire Scott coming over will bounce this one down. Bounces it very quickly, up they go again. Pitter trying to get the ball down, Gillespie trying to burst his way through, players bumping and hipping and trying to get this ball out of the scrum, and again umpire Scott will bounce the ball down almost on the central wing position at the Subiaco Oval. Chittleborough Pitter. Taken by Gillespie again, gets his boot into the ball and straight over the line and out of bounds it goes. The scoreboard showing Perth 1 goal, 6 points on the board, East Perth rather, and Perth yet to score. Bob Miller.
Thanks, Brian. A lot of players suffering from Grand Final jitters out there in these first few minutes. Chittleborough 29 opposed to Bradley Smith 30 and Eddie Pitter. Pitter gets the tap over towards Brio. He's in front of the member stand. Greg Brio. Brio's kick high towards the half-forward line. Mark O'Donoghue, but it's knocked away by Dalton. Peter Krapp over to Chittleborough. He's too slow to get rid of it, and well tackled there by Gillespie. In comes Cable. He's on the right half-forward flank. And umpire Scott has awarded the kick. And Barry Cable to take it at right half-forward. Here's the Perth rover to take his kick. Driving in against the breeze, and it's a good drop kick from Cable, well into the forward area. There's Atwell high in the air, but he can't take it. Chance for Chittleborough. Here's Iggers in the right full forward pocket. Picked up by Atwell. Here's a chance for Perth, over to Page, but he's missed kick across the face of the goal and out of play in that left full forward pocket.
Well, Atwell gave Page a glorious opportunity there to bring up a goal.
Quickly comes the throw in, the knock goes towards Pitter. Bradley Smith. And there's his kick towards the right centre wing. Ray Mills. Mills trying to battle his way through. But Donkin bursting through, sends them forward towards the half-forward line. Graham Edwards holding the man, says umpire Scott, and Graham Edwards to take his kick.
Jackson Lowe.
I think it was quite obvious that Jackson is carrying a leg, and I think the people that are viewing the show could pick that up as he was running for the ball just then.
Those comments from Lou Richardson. There's the kick towards the half-forward flank. The mark going the way of East Perth, Laurie Kennedy. Fast and furious in the first few minutes of the 67 Grand Final. A kick from Kennedy. But it stopped there on the half-back line by Perth. Taken by Patastonian. Well, there's a Perth player knocked over on the line and 15 yards awarded. Right, Fred Woods?
Definitely right. You can't give it a man on the mark.
Well, Mal Brown at fault there, and Stoney to take his kick. There's a Perth ruckman driving towards the left half forward flank. Ross Wilson high in there, and he takes the mark. Ross Wilson playing in his first grand final at left half forward. Shoots the ball in towards centre half forward.
Chadwick.
And a mark there to Derek Chadwick. Captain coach of East Perth on the half-back flank. There's the short pass from Chadwick over to Kennedy. Kick from Kennedy, smothered and out of play on the far side of the ground. 1 goal to East Perth, Perth yet to score. Laurie Kennedy gets the tap this time. Peter Krepp. Krepp having trouble there finding his feet. Cable takes the ball and boots it towards the forward line. Chittlebar and Bradley Smith. A chance for Chittlebar. He's in the forward pocket, gets his foot to the ball. And there's the first score on the board to the Demons, 1 point. 6 minutes into the first quarter of the 1967 grand final.
You're watching it on TVW Channel 7 in Perth. East Perth 1 goal. Perth 1 behind, and the kick-in coming very quickly. Up to the half-back line it goes. After the ball goes, Brio takes the mark for Perth. Up on the half-forward line, and here's the Perth wingman to drive the ball up into their full-forward territory again. Perth going into the breeze in this the opening quarter. The Perth wingman drop kicks the ball up towards the full-forward zone. Out comes Atwell, knocked away by Lindsay Hay. Crumbs picked up by Bennett. Handballs over again to Issager. Wasn't going past him, puts the ball to his boot, and 4 points to the Demons.
Good play then by Atwell, knocking the ball away and giving his Perth forwards an opportunity of getting the ball. Certainly experienced football against the breeze. I thought Hay, the East Perth full back, a little at fault then in kicking the ball on the wrong side of the ground.
Quick thinking.
Kicking a punt kick too. That was rather unusual.
He is a good drop kick, Lou.
Quick thinking by Bennett there, giving it to Issager Jack.
Coming straight through. A player going through, Bob, had no trouble at all in bringing up that goal.
Ruckman gathering in the centre for the bounce down again. Patastani on the ball for Perth. Terry Fremantle there for East Perth. Up they go again. Astani gets hold of the ball. After it goes Chadwick of East Perth. Puts his side into attack again. Down to centre half forward. Jackson unattended. Takes the mark in the centre half forward position for the Royals. Jackson, you can see on your screen with a heavily bandaged left knee. Right in the centre half forward position, and an opportunity now for East Perth. Kick from Sydney Jackson, the drop kick. Up into the full forward pocket it goes. Pitter got high into the air. Whistle sounding from umpire Scott down there, and the kick being awarded in the full forward pocket position to the big East Perth ruckman.
Must have been a free kick. It couldn't have been a mark.
I think Peter might have been grabbed round the head, Lou. He appeared to get some sort of interference.
Here's the big ruckman in the right full forward pocket. A pretty acute angle. Puts his ball to the boot and makes no mistake at all. And another goal on the board to East Perth.
Well, Pitter got the mark or the free kick, whichever one it was, and brought up 4 points. And a good kick from that angle. Quite a fairly acute angle with the breeze, although the breeze probably right in his favour, but steered it straight to bring up a good goal for East Perth.
I can't see that goalkeeper lasting up the distance all day too, running around that pace. He's doing it, well, not the goalkeeper, the goal umpire, yes.
They move pretty quick over here.
Don't they move quickly?
Players gathered for the bounce down again. You're watching the grand final on Channel 7. Up they go. Chittlebarra, also Fremantle. Fremantle taps the ball away. Knocked on again by Ray Mills. He bursts through Gary Gillespie. Goes back after the ball again. Hotly pressed by East Perth players. Can't get rid of it, says umpire Scott. And he'll bounce this ball down. A few yards away from the centre circle at Subiaco Oval. Players ringing the bounce down again. After the thump goes Donkin. Fremantle trying to pick it up. Chadwick gathers the ball. Hotly gathered by Perth players. Krepp trying to get hold of it too. Comes out to Kennedy. He can't gather it. Out eventually to Brio. Hotly pressed there by Gary Gillespie. Here's the kick going the way of the Perth wingman. Greg Brio on the right centre wing to put the Demons into attack again.
Brio to take his kick. There's a left footer moving in, and a good driving drop kick towards centre half forward. Indecision there by several players. On the half forward flank, through comes Ken McCall, over to poor old kick. Goes to Graham Edwards. Back goes Perth to the half forward line. And Jerry Issager all on his own to take that mark. Jerry Issager at centre half forward, well out from goals against the breeze.
They're doing a pretty good job at the moment, Perth, holding East Perth down to the score.
There's a kick from Issager, and it's a good one. It's got plenty of distance, but it's offline and through for the minor score.
As you said, Lou Perth doing very well against the Breeze, holding East Perth to 2 goals at the present time.
Bob Chittleborough has been in the hands of the trainers for several seconds in the centre of the ground too.
Notice Hay this time, Bob, going to go out the other side of the ground.
Lindsay Hay kicking towards the far side, a floating punt kick. He doesn't get much distance.
Why would he be kicking punt kicks, Jack? Is there any reason for this?
Should kick a drop kick, Bob. Lou, I shouldn't think there's any reason why he shouldn't.
There's Max Grieve to take his kick in the right full-back pocket. Nervousness, I think Lou makes these players kick punt kicks early, and there's the play on the left wing. East Perth coming forward through Bradley Smith. A good pass finds Terry Fremantle. On towards Donkin. It's over his head. But Donkin quickly recovers over the half-forward flank. But in comes Bob Shields to relieve the pressure. Shields drives for the boundary. And it's marked there by Derek Chadwick. A good mark there to Chadwick. Chadwick sees the lead further afield. It's taken by Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith, the East Perth ruckman, between the right wing and right half forward. Good player this in the final game last week. There's his kick, it's not a good one. Bob Page over to Ramshaw. And Ramshaw's kick towards the left wing. Ross Milson high in the air and he takes a mark. A good mark there to young Ross Milson. Showed plenty of anticipation then. A poor old kick towards Patastani. Stanley finally gets his kick towards the full forward area. Isiger in front, but it's knocked away by Macaulay. Lindsay Hay battling there on the half back line. Up towards Perth's forward area. Play still going on. And umpire Scott, no, the free kick's going the way of Perth. And Mel Atwell to take it.
I think that at the moment Atwell's killed them with a bit of football knowledge and using a lot of experience up there, and I think he faked that one a little bit too.
Here's Mel Atwell, the captain coach in his first game for 6 weeks, and he's put it through, and it's 4 points to Perth as we're 12 minutes in.
Well, a beautiful kick by Atwell there. I thought he should have got the free kick. He was playing the ball in front of him. There was a pack of players coming behind, and he got the push. Lou said he helped himself. Well, he may have. He's helped himself to a goal.
It's fair enough, Jake. It just goes to show what experience can do when you put a player like Atwell on the side up there. He's played most of his football as a defender, but now playing as a forward and doing pretty well.
Well, fortunately for him, he's playing an inexperienced defender too, and that makes a difference. Over to Brian Thurley.
We're 12 minutes into this first quarter of the 1967 Grand Final. You're watching it on TVW Channel 7, only 2 points the difference. Perth 2 goals 2, East Perth 2 goals. The bounce down again from umpire Scott in the centre. Astaney and Pitter opposed. Up they go. Neither can get an effective knock into the ball. Players trying to force it from the centre. Pitter gets it off the ground. In goes Chadwick. Out towards Bradley Smith, trying to gather the ball too. And again, umpire Scott will bounce this one a few yards away from the centre circle. Bradley Smith then tries to get the ball down. And Donahue gets a boot into it. Coming out to Ray Mills, who sends Perth into attack up towards their half-forward flank position. Greg Bennett going after the ball with Bob Graham up there. Coming across Paddy Dalton for Perth. Gary Gillespie on top of the ball on the ground. Hotly pressed there by Dalton. Too high, says the umpire, and Gillespie to take this kick backward of the left centre wing position for East Perth. Here's the small wingman, just backward of the left centre wing position. Puts the ball down towards the wing. Into the air they go. Rothney in front. Couldn't take the mark. Cable. Out the back it comes to Graham Edwards. Edwards gets around 2 or 3 players, has a bounce up over the right centre wing. He goes to put Perth into attack, kicks into the centre half forward position. Jerry Isiger gets his hands on the ball. The mark being awarded by umpire Scott, and here he is backward at centre half forward to take his kick. Atwell breaking from the goals. There's the kick from Isiger. Up it goes though. Lindsay Hay gets into the air. Can't take the mark. Has been awarded though. And he'll bring this ball away from the fullback position.
He's going to play the quick ones, Fred, apparently.
Yeah, well, he's committed himself now, Bob. He's given a couple of very doubtful ones, so he's got to go along with it now.
Here's the East Perth fullback putting his beat to the ball. Kick right down towards the centre of the ground. Into the air they go. Eddie Pitter in front gets his hands on the ball to bring down the mark for East Perth. Here's the tall East Perth ruckman. Down towards the half-forward flank it goes. After the ball goes Jackson and Lawrence. Knocked away by Lawrence. Peter Krepp gathering the ball for Perth. Back towards the half-forward line it goes. Once again, Perth taking this kick just backward of the left half-forward flank position. Milson sends the ball up into the full forward zone. Hay goes to the ground. Atwell can't take the mark. Play on, says the umpire. Hips go in from Atwell. Shovels the ball over. Isiger trying to gather it for Perth up on the full forward pocket. East Perth defenders trying to burst their way out with it right on the edge of the goal square. Umpire Scott coming over.
That could be a hole in the ball. Just about
Here's the
pull
kick.
his Guernsey off his back.
Here's the kick on the edge of the goal square. Greg Bennett, the Perth Raver, to take it for them directly in front of the goals. Greg Bennett puts the ball to his boot. No mistake at all. 4 points again.
Well, East Perth have got a king-size problem, I think, at Atwell at full forward. He's played very well at full forward. Notice on the occasions he's come out there with a ton of pace and strength and knocking the ball out and giving his small men in that forward line plenty of opportunities.
Well, I feel that he's thinking all the time up there, Jack, and creating opportunities for other players around him. And he was the actual creator of that goal there too, by using strength and getting the ball forward.
15 minutes into the first quarter, a 3-2 Perth, 2 goals East Perth. Eddie Pitter on the ball opposed to Patastoni. Pitter gets the tap, picked up by Cable. There's Cable's high kick towards the left half forward flank. Well taken there by Milson. And a good pass there finds Jerry Ezeko. He's got an open ground in front of him. There's the drop kick. 1 point.
Hit the post.
Hit the post. Bad luck there for Ezeko. A good drop kick and it hit the post. Lindsay Hay, indecision to which way to kick this boy, but he's coming out towards the grandstand flank this time, and it's a good torpedo punt kick. Patastoni in front, and he takes the mark. Perth using the front position to date.
I feel that Perth are playing with a lot more confidence than East Perth at the moment. They're going in, they're backing their judgment all the time.
Kick from Astoni towards the forward line. Eddie Pitter underneath it, and he takes the mark. Playing well this ruckman for East Perth to date. Pitter, not a good kick. It goes towards the stand wing. And there's the kick going the way of East Perth. Jim Haynes taking the kick, centering the ball towards Chadwick and Krapp. Mal Brown there, hotly pressed by Shields. Well picked up by Ross Milson. Over to Dalton. There's the kick from Dawson, goes well into the forward line. There's Atwell battling with Hay. But it's touched through for the minor score once again to the Demons. Atwell using his body well in that full forward position. Lindsay Hay taking the kick off again. There's the torpedo punt kick, and it's a good one too, out towards the member stand flank. Well knocked down there to Duncan. Over to Gillespie, showing plenty of pace. Kick from Gillespie's not a good one. It goes towards the centre. Vic Evans, number 43. Evans finally traps the ball. Sends it towards Donkin. He's at centre half forward. There's Donkin's kick towards full forward. Teeny, this could be the goal that gives him the record. It is. No, it's not. 1 point only to Phil Teeny, needing 1 point to break the East Perth club record. 3 goals for Perth, 2 goals, 1 East Perth. And 18 minutes into the first quarter at Subiaco Oval.
Graham Ramshaw to bring the ball into play again from the city end of the ground for the Perth side. Ruckman and Ravers are gathering out on the member stand flank. Here's the kick in from Ramshaw. Out to the half-back flank it goes. Into the air goes the Stoney. Knocked away by Bradley Smith. Brio trying to gather the ball as they take it over the line. And a throw in coming at left half forward for East Perth. Neither Ruckman can get a touch in the ball. Page trying to burst his way through. Gillespie runs straight into a teammate. Around the neck says umpire Scott, and Gillespie to take this kick at left half forward for East Perth.
Looked more like his own man then, I think, than an opposition.
I reckon it was his own man for sure. Perhaps he's a bit colourblind, the umpire.
Kick from Gillespie. Up it goes. Right into the full forward pocket position. A big pack in the air. Picked up by Richie Rigg, the back pocket player for Perth. Bounces it across the goal square. Out to the far side of the ground. Looking for Lawrence over there, very close to the line. Lawrence gathers it just inside. Gets his boot into the ball and clears it over the line on the far side of the ground. Again on the half forward flank position for the East Perth side. Biltini going after the throw, and this time brings the ball down unopposed. Can't gather it though. Back again very close to the boundary line, tackled by 3 Perth players. Over it comes to Versigan, picked up again by Fremantle, driven across the face of the goals. Donkin dropping back in the pocket, going after the ball pretty close to the line, can't gather it again. And this time a throw to come at left full forward for East Perth. Teeny across again, Shields knocks the ball down, Evans going after it, Donkin gathering it now. Tackled by Bennett, gets the boot into the ball about 20 yards out from the goals. Ramshaw trying to come through as the hips and shoulders go in. Picked up by Edwards, clears the ball to the half-back flank again. The wingman into the air, Gillespie in front, Brio behind him, and they take it over the line again for a throw on the left half-forward flank. 3 goals for Perth, East Perth 2 goals 1. Laurie Kennedy, Barry Chiddleborough. Down to Gillespie again. He drives the ball up in front of the goals once more. Players setting themselves there. Donkin coming in quickly to gather the crumbs, puts his boot to the ball, over the head of Page it goes, and through for full points.
Good football there by Donkin. You could see the two East Perth players, Tierney and Brown, going to go for the mark with their Perth opponents and realising that probably beat crumbs, flashed in very quickly and hooking the ball over his shoulder brought up, well, a goal that East Perth badly need.
The scoreboard shows 3 points the difference, with Perth 3 goals 4-22, leading East Perth 3 goals 1-19. The bounce down again. You're watching the grand final on Channel 7. Interference of the bounce down there. And the kick is going East Perth's way, and it's the veteran Murray Kennedy, the ruckman, to take it for the Royals. Onto the boot quickly, down to the half-forward line. Tierney in front, takes the mark for East Perth, leading across in front of Bob Shields.
Right, and this is the first change of the game. Tierney to centre half forward and Brown to full forward.
Now Phil Tierney from the half-forward line. The kick not a good one, puts it onto the chest of Bob Shields, the Perth centre half-back. Shields drop kicks out to the half-back line again. Into the air goes East Perth to bring down the mark, and their captain coach Derek Chadwick to send them back into attack once again. Chadwick is forward of his right centre wing position for East Perth. Malcolm Brown breaking up the flank. That's the direction of the kick. Puts the ball onto the chest of the big East Perth player. He turns it back. This will land right on the edge of the goal square as players set themselves. Comes picked up quickly again by Rigg. He's sent to the ground with a tackle from Pitter. Picked up again by Page. He grubs the ball to centre half back. Big Chiddleborough coming across. Takes the ball. Puts his boot into it and gets it out of the danger zone. Up to the half-forward line it goes. Macaulay with plenty of dash from centre half-back. Takes it for East Perth. Back to the centre of the ground. Rothney up from the half-back line. Taken away by O'Donoghue of East Perth. O'Donoghue drop kicks back to full forward. Pitter setting himself. Can't bring down the mark. Crumb's taken away again by Edwards. A high kick to the half-back line. Vic Evans sets himself for East Perth and takes the ball on his chest for the Royals out on the left half-forward flank.
Well, Vic Evans on the left half-forward flank, kicking into a cross breeze. There's a kick from Evans, a high torpedo punt kick towards full forward. Ray Lawrence in front and he takes him out. He usually plays at right half-back, but he's been switched to left half-back this time on Sid Jackson. Kicks out towards the other flank and well marked there by Ian Rothney. Rothney's playing at right half-back on Vic Evans. There's a lead in the centre towards Bennett, but it's a poor old kick. That's why they're not kicking drop kicks, Lou. They haven't got the confidence. And there's a kick towards the half-forward line. And a juggled mark there to Max Grieve has been awarded. There's Donkin with the lead down on the half-forward flank, and that's the way it goes. Keith Donkin all on his own out there. Now tackled by Cable. Another poor old drop kick, but it goes towards Jackson. He's in the pocket. He tries a right foot snap, and it's very close, but it's offline and through for the minor score to make East Perth 3 goals 2, Perth 3 goals 4. Not much in this first quarter of the 67 grand final. Graham Ramshaw, the Perth fullback, to take the kick in.
Well, it's noticeable East Perth, not as sure as Perth in their handling or marking of the ball.
A good kick out towards a half-back flank. Well knocked over by Astounding, picked up by Ray Mills. He's showing plenty of pace up towards the half-forward line. Ken Macaulay in front, and he clears the ball back towards the centre. There's Shields there battling with Tierney, picked up by Cable. He's at half-back, over the crap. Onto Astounding. Too slow to get rid of it. And holding the ball, says umpire Ray Scott. A good tackle there by Derek Chadwick, or Phil Tierney it was, and he will take the kick in the centre of the ground. Phil Tierney now playing at centre half forward. There's the drop punt towards Malcolm Brown. Over the head of the pack, a chance for Verstegen. He's in the pocket, having trouble with it, finding his feet. And umpire Ray Scott will bounce it down in the left full forward pocket. No ruckman whatsoever there in the two Rovers contest to throw down. And finally it's tapped out of bounds once again. A very fast game to date, and some of these ruckmen are going to have trouble keeping up with the play. In the back to Pat Stoney from that throw-in, and he takes the kick. The drop kick doesn't get a great deal of distance towards the flank. Knocked away by Brio, and I see the head trainer out talking to Brio, and he looks as though he could be limping.
Had a bit of an ankle, Bob. Jardy's ankle going for a mark a few moments ago.
There's another infringement at the throw-in, and Laurie Kennedy, the veteran East Perth ruckman, to take his kick. Quickly transfers play in towards the full forward area, but a poor old kick goes to Graham Ramshaw. Verstegen called for that lead, but it was over his head, and Graham Ramshaw had no trouble in marking. A good drop kick from Ramshaw. He's a beautiful kick, this fellow. Out towards the flank. Knocked over to Gillespie. His kick in towards the centre. Cable. There goes his kick towards left half forward. And marked there by Chittleborough. 25 minutes into the first quarter.
Big Chittleborough, one of the biggest men on the ground today, puts his beat to the ball from the half-forward line for Perth. Up to the full forward zone it goes. East Perth in the front position, get into the air, and Lindsay Hay takes a good mark in front of Malcolm Atwell. Both the full-back and the back pocket player you could see coming out in front of their marksman there, and East Perth hold up another Perth attack as Lindsay Hay puts the ball to his beat. Out to the centre half-back position it goes. Cable into the air, over the top of Verstegen, brings down the mark for Perth. Cable takes the mark to the delight of the Perth supporters, puts the ball to his boot, hits it onto the chest of Page. Page gets around Kennedy, drives towards the goals. Across the face it goes into the full forward pocket position, almost marked by East Perth up there, and bouncing away out of bounds into that full forward pocket position for another throw. 3 goals for Perth, 22, leading East Perth 3 goals, 2-20. 26 minutes into the first quarter of the 1967 grand final as East Perth bring it away from the last line of defence again. Out to the half-back line it goes. Picked up there by East Perth. Chadwick quickens to his boot very quickly. Knocked down by Mills. Taken down by Cable. Twisting and turning, trying to get around Chadwick. Does so now and drives the ball back into the full forward zone. A pack gathering underneath this one. Players going after the crumbs. Picked up by Paddy Dalton. Getting around to have a line-up at the goals. And there's the boot from Pat Dalton.
There's an infringement, Brian. The kick against the Perth player there for interfering with the East Perth man as the kick was going through.
The ball brought back, umpire Scott standing on the mark out there about 25 yards out from the Perth goal. Kick to go the way of East Perth. And an opportunity to hold Perth out again. Jim Haynes, the player to take it for them. A kick from Haynes to the far side of the ground. Out towards Verstegen, beats him over the line, and a throw in to come now at left half forward. 27 minutes of play gone in the first quarter of the grand final. You're watching it on TVW Channel 7. Up go the ruckman again. East Perth trying to burst their way out. Bradley Smith, handballs over, taken again by Mills. Hotly tackled, gets it over to Milson. Milson handballs on again to Isiger. Isiger drives the Rainbringer up to the full forward zone. Players gathering underneath it again. No one can bring down the ball. Over now to Cable, getting around for a left foot snap. Sends the ball on its way to the goals, but it's offline and through for a behind. 3 goals, 6 goes the Perth tally now, and they're leading East Perth 3 goals, 2.
There's no doubt about it, this Cable's a very impressive looking player, isn't he? Beautiful kick, and I think he's showing most of the other fellas how to kick a drop kick out there today.
Comments coming from Lee Richards as the ball's put back into play again. Bradley Smith into the air, brings down the mark for East Perth on the half-back line. Time running out for East Perth in this first quarter as they send the ball down to the half-forward line. A poor old drop kick bouncing towards the boundary at left half-forward. Pitter coming across, can't get to it again. And a throw-in coming with 28 minutes of play now expired in the first quarter. Bob Miller.
Thanks, Brian. You should have given them some drop kicking practice during the week, Jack, by the look of it.
Well, they're not kicking the ball. They appear to be suffering stage fright at the present time, Bob.
Graham Edwards in there, battling with Pitter. Goes over to Keith Donkin. There's a kick towards the half-forward line. Jackson there and Lawrence. A good battle between these two. It's on the half-forward line. Well picked up by Bob Page. Out to Peter Krepp. Krepp on the left half-back flank. On he goes towards the centre, unattended. And there's a good pass towards the half-forward line, but it's gone astray. But knocked on by Ray Mills towards full forward. A chance for Atwell, but he's having trouble picking the ball up. And this time East Perth clear the ball through Bradley Smith. A good piece of work there. Lindsay Hay it was, and clears that ball out of bounds on that half-back flank. Here's the ruckman gathered. Eddie Pitter getting the tap once again. Back to Greg Bennett. Holding the ball, says umpire Scott. 29 minutes into this first quarter, and Eddie Pitter to take the kick. There's a drop kick towards the half-forward line. Phil Tierney over to Vic Evans. Well knocked on by Donkin. A chance here for East Perth. It's on their half-forward line. There's Jackson there, but peeling for the kick.
And got it, Bob. Holding the
finally
man.
been awarded the kick just forward of the centre half-forward position. Jackson about 50 yards out from the Royals' goal with a breeze behind him. Can he kick it, says the East Perth supporters.
Good foolish on the part of the Perth boys then, because Jackson...
Oh, a short pass. Goes towards Evans. He's 30 yards out. Gets his foot to the ball. Yes, and it's through. And East Perth hit the front. 4 goals 2 to 3 goals 6 by Perth.
Well, Bob, I think East Perth a little lucky then. Jackson's kick to Evans wasn't a good one. Seemed rather lackadaisical. Hit the ground, but Evans, with plenty of recovery, just had enough pace to elude the Perth player and bring up a goal for East Perth.
30 minutes into the first quarter. There's Sid Jackson. His legs still standing up to it, but he's not taking any undue risk at the moment. There's the scoreboard. 4-2 to East Perth and 3-6 to Perth. Nothing in this game. Bradley Smith getting the tap, and it's a good one to Mark O'Donoghue. Over the head of Ray Lawrence to Jackson. Here's danger for Perth. Over to Phil Teeney. Oh, a poor old kick from Teeney.
What a glorious opportunity out of giving it to Brown, who was sitting on his own 10 yards out.
I think Brown's too happy about it either. He's going out to that chap that miskicked the ball then.
Kind of opportunity there for Phil Teeney, but it went off the side of his boot and out of play. It's in the Royals forward area. Chance for Mel Brown. Phil Teeney once again battling. He's got his left foot to it, but it's across the face of the goals and out of play at left full forward. Well, there's the siren for quarter time here at the Subiaco Oval. 4 goals 2 East Perth, lead Perth 3 goals 6.
Players moving over now for the changeover, with East Perth winning back the lead in the final minutes of the first quarter. Comments coming up from Jack Sheedy.
Well, Brian, I think the points in the first round should go to Perth. I think Atwell's move to full forward has paid big dividends for Perth, getting 3-6 against the Breeze, and a strong Breeze at that in this first quarter is an excellent contribution to their team. Atwell's combined well with his forwards, kept the forward line open, and really made them.
You're on the ball on. Will tap into the ball. Milson going after it, hotly pressed by Grieve. Milson winning the day for Perth, goes over centre half forward, a high kick up into the full forward zone. Graham and also Bennett dealing down there in the pocket. Bennett going out after the ball once again, picked up now by Cable. Cable shoots the ball over to Milson again, unattended, about 40 yards out from the goals. He sends the ball on its way, and the Breeze takes it away again, out of bounds in the left full forward pocket.
I notice Fremantle to full forward for East Perth and Brown onto the ball.
Here's the throw in at left full forward. Up they go again. Bradley Smith and Astoney. A chance for Astoney, but hotly grabbed there by Bradley Smith about 20 yards out from the goals. And umpire Scott will bounce this ball down in the full forward zone for Perth. Smith thumps the ball over the boundary line and will have a throw in again at left full forward. East Perth 4 goals 2 in the opening seconds of the second quarter, leading Perth 3 goals 5. Bradley Smith takes the ball again, sinks his boot into it, and once again drives it over the line and out of bounds.
Jack, although the Breeze is playing fairly solid to the left towards the city end, you must get on the opposite side, on the old scoreboard side to score.
For sure, I couldn't understand why East Perth didn't use that other side of the ground first, the scoreboard side in the first quarter, Bob.
Ruckman gathering for the boundary throw, and again up they go. Page gets high to get a tap into the ball, but goes over the shoulder, says umpire Scott, and Bradley Smith will take this kick from the back pocket for East Perth. Stoney whistled back on the mark by Scott as Smith comes in, takes his kick up to the half-back line, kicking it close to the boundary line, and Chittleborough brings down the mark just in front of Laurie Kennedy, just inside the boundary line at left half forward. The Perth ruckman sends the ball back towards the full forward zone, a nest of East Perth players underneath it, and the mark is elected to be taken by Keith Donkin, the East Perth Raider. On he goes quickly now, drives the ball up towards the centre wing position. Into the air they go. A beautiful mark brought down by Phil Teeney, getting over the top of Shields to take the mark for East Perth. Gets to his feet quickly and sends the ball up to the half-forward line. Evans going after it. Rothney is with him. Ball bouncing towards the boundary line. Picked up again by Ray Mills. Backs out of trouble and sends the ball back into the centre of the ground. Bob Page coming across to take the ball for Perth. He gets it over the top of the head of Jackson, over towards Lawrence. Lawrence having trouble gathering the ball. Eventually gets his boot into it. Back to the half-forward line. And here's Donkin again, taking the mark for East Perth. Keith Donkin just backward to the centre line for East Perth to take this kick for the Royals. The short passes on into the centre of the ground, hits the ball onto the chest of Malcolm Brown. He drives the ball up to the centre half forward position. Bounce beats several players. Fremantle tries to knock on, taken by Ray Lawrence. He gets the ball out to the wing. Brio and Gillespie going after it. Neither can take the mark. Gillespie recovering well. Gets the ball over to O'Donoghue. Back again to Gillespie. Here's East Perth going into attack now as Gillespie drives the ball right up on the edge of the goal square again. Teeney racing back, takes the mark, goes on into an open goal and puts it through.
That's the goal that gives him the club record, Jack.
Well, and great goal too. A fighting mark at one of Teeney's, running into a nest of players. Could have easily copped one coming the other way, but showed a ton of courage to go through and bring it up.
With 3 minutes into of the first quarter. Bob Miller.
Thank you, Brian. Well, that goal makes Teeny's tally for the season 116 goals to break the 1958 record of Billy Mose. 5 goals, 2 to East Perth, 3 goals, 5 Perth.
Atwell onto the ball for Perth and Stoney at full forward.
Now the game's on with that quick goal from East Perth. Malcolm Brown opposed to Malcolm Atwell. Brown getting the tap, but it's over towards Gillespie. He's got a ton of pace, this fellow, and he's using it out there, kicking towards a half-forward flank. Lawrence and Jackson. Jackson trying to make position. Richie Rigg coming through from the back pocket. Cable. Over to Richie Rigg. Is good football, and the pass goes further afield to Greg Brio. There's a good drop kick from Brio. In towards full forward. Lindsay Hay. Over to Bennett. On to Pat Dalton. He's in the pocket. Gets his foot to the ball. It's a high floating kick. And it's through. There's a good angle goal from the boot of Pat Dalton.
Bob, they're the goals that win final games. Snapshots like that of Dalton, a real beauty.
Very classy looking goal, that wasn't it?
It was, Lou, a beauty.
Well played and never looked in doubt, really. He sided it and then snapped and away he went.
5 goals, 2, 32 to East Perth, 4-5, 29 to Perth. And the last 2 goals, one scored by Teeny and one by Dalton, have certainly been great goals. The 2 number 1s on the ball there, Malcolm Atwell and Malcolm Brown. Mark O'Donoghue to Bob Page. There's a kick once again towards full forward. Greg Bennett, 20 yards out from the Perth goals, in the pocket. On to Patastoni, but he can't take it. Back to Bennett. Perth trying desperately to come through here. Ross Milson by the legs, says umpire Scott. And Ross Milson to take the kick 20 yards out from the Perth goal. Correct decision, Fred Woods?
Well, after all as easy as that, Bob, to make the umpire's job easy.
Ross Milson, the half-forward flanker, with a great chance here to score a goal, but it's a poor old kick. He didn't even take aim at all, and through for the minor score. Well, you can't afford to miss him from 20 yards out in a grand final.
Bob, I noticed since Brown went onto the ball for East Perth, Atwell immediately went onto the ball to match him.
Yeah, looks like a great duel between these two, and there's Laurie Kennedy, and a poor old kick, but it goes to Verstegen. Verstegen on the half-back line. Some poor old kicking tonight, picked up by Bob Page. Over to Ray Mills, he's got a chance. But Bob Graham there, safely in the last line of defence to take that mark. Transferring play, looks as though he'll kick towards the far flank. That's the way it goes with the drop punt. Oh, well knocked on there. The battle going on that right half-forward flank, picked up by Jim Haynes. Towards Mark O'Donoghue, through comes Cable. There's Cable dodging around Gillespie. And there's a drop kick. What a beautiful kick in towards full forward. And well marked there by Laurie Kennedy. Umpire Scott pulling him back. Laurie Kennedy to take the kick with 6 minutes in, Brian Thurley.
He paid the mark and he wasn't quite sure because Kennedy ran around the outside of the post. I think it's the reason why he pulled him back.
There's Kennedy taking the kick. Not a good one again. The short pass was on to Greaves. Coming across again, Lindsay Hay trying to gather the ball, and they take it over the line. A throw and come again at left full forward in Perth territory. 5 goals to East Perth. Perth 4 goals, 6, 32 points to 30. After the throw in again, Milson quickly gathering the ball for Perth. Hotly pressed by Bob Graham, holding the ball. The decision on the back pocket player for East Perth to take the kick again and to bring it away from the danger zone for the Royals.
Brian Brio seems to be carrying a leg out there at the present time.
There's the kick from Bob Graham. Up to the half-back line it goes. Into the air again. A nice mark taken by Bob Shields.
Well, he's playing centre-half back, Brian. He took that mark on the left half-forward flank.
Here he is down in the forward zone. The kick from Shields, putting the ball up to centre-half forward. Isiger getting into the front position. Knocked away, though, by Macaulay. Players trying to come out as Page comes out with the ball. Greaves going after it. Isiger trying to gather it, too, for Perth. Players drop on top of it, and umpire Scott will bounce the ball almost at centre-half forward for Perth. Goes Atwell to get the ball down. Malcolm Brown going after it, tackled by the small Cable, and they take it over the line again. And the throw to come again on the left half forward flank for Perth. Chittleborough, Bradley Smith. Ball goes behind the pack. After it goes Paddy Dalton. Bob Graham trying to come out again. Taken now by Atwell. Handballs over quickly towards Paddy Dalton. He's about 35 yards out from the goals. There goes the kick from Dalton. Sends the ball towards the goals and right through the middle again.
Well, good football again there, Brian, by Atwell. Got the ball out, saw 2 Perth players over in the centre of the ground and handballed over rather wildly, but he knew that the players were well in the open, and once he got there, Dalton had no trouble at all in lining them up and bringing up another goal.
Look at that Dalton. He's a very cagey sort of a player. And 2 lovely goals and 2 very handy ones too.
He's played 148 games,
looks
Lou.
like he's played about 4,500 games the way he's playing at the moment.
5 goals, 6 Perth. East Perth 5-2. You're on the ball on 7 as Gillespie brings the ball away from the bounce down. Up to the half-forward line. Teeny into the air. Can't take the mark. Players after the crumbs on the half-forward line. Teeny coming out with the ball. Loses it again. Back he goes to regather it. Handball going over towards Donkin. Donkin drop kicks quickly with the ball away into the full-forward pocket. Jackson overruns the ball. Picked up now by Lawrence on the half-back line for Perth. He skies the ball up towards the wing position. Into the air goes Gillespie. Can't take the mark. Perth trying to come through again. Brio it is. Tackled pretty solidly as Gillespie comes out again with the ball for East Perth. Out to that half-forward flank looking for Jackson. Lawrence after the ball again for Perth. Takes it in front of Jackson. Handballs away. Richie Rigg gets his boot into it. And over the line it goes on the centre wing position again on the far side of the ground. 9 minutes of play now gone in the second quarter of the 1967 Grand Final.
And the scores, Perth 5-6 to East Perth 5-2. There's the Rucks gathering on the far side of the ground. Eddie Pitter gets the tap. Picked up by Greg Bennett. There's his kick towards a half-forward line. Jim Haynes. And Jim Haynes takes the mark this time in front of Pat Dalton. There's a kick from Haynes. A better drop kick this time up towards a half-forward line. A chance for Jackson. Battling with Lawrence. Jackson battling his way over the half-forward flank. And the ball's finally gone out of play. Jackson still appears to be moving a little stiffly on that left sore leg. Eddie Pitter and Graham Edwards and Stoney. Picked up by Tierney. Here's a chance over towards Donkin on centre half forward. Donkin's long hand pass towards Vic Evans, but he's missed it, and it's taken by Bob Page. Golden opportunity missed there by the Royals. Out towards the flank, and it's out of play on that right half forward flank. 4 points to difference in favour of the Demons. And a very strong cross breeze, certainly affecting some of these players. Terry Fremantle in there. Greg Bennett on to Milson, as good play to Ray Mills. There's the kick from Mills towards full forward. In comes Atwell. Clamps the ball over to Cable. Here's danger for East Perth. Cable trying to get around his opponent. He does so. There's a drop kick, but it doesn't get the distance. And Laurie Kennedy picks up right on the white line. Over to Macaulay. Macaulay's kick to Donkin, and he takes the mark at half-back. On towards Gillespie. He's playing a good game, this fellow on the wing, but I think Greg Brio's on one leg at the moment. Brio battling his way through, gives it to Lawrence. And Lawrence's kick towards a half-forward line, missed by Jim Haynes. And Haynes kicks towards the left half-forward flank, right in the arms of Ray Lawrence. Many mistakes by players on both sides to date. Lawrence transfers play to centre half-forward. Knocked away by Chadwick. Picked up by Chadwick and booted out towards the flank. Back comes Perth through Ray Mills. Here's Atwell and Lindsay Hay. Knocked by Atwell over to Dalton. Here's a chance to score his third goal. And he does so from the boot of Pat Dalton.
Well, Lou, did you think that was another goal to Atwell there?
I reckon he's killed them down there, Atwell, today. He's created at least 3 or 4 goals for Perth. And that was very intelligent play. Donkin, not Donkin, the other boy, Dalton is certainly getting the praise for kicking the 3 goals. But by golly, you must give a good pat on the back to Atwell.
Well, 12 minutes into the second quarter, Brian Thurley.
Thanks, Bob Miller. The scoreboard, 6 goals, 6 Perth. East Perth, 5 goals, 2. 42 points to 32, and a 10-point advantage now to the Demons here in the second quarter of the 1967 Grand Final. The bounce down coming again from umpire Scott in the centre. Up they go. Fremantle and Stoney. Stoney tries to knock on. Knocked on again by Edwards. Out for the ball comes Gillespie, who's winning a lot of the kicks from the centre. Up towards Evans, and Evans will take this kick up by a little backward of his half-forward flank position, more up towards the centre wing, and sent East Perth into attack. Vic Evans, centred in your screen now, taking this kick for East Perth. The drop kick, it's a wobbly old one, up towards centre half forward. Bounce beats the Stoney. Through comes Cable from the half-back line for Perth. Drop kicks the ball neatly into the hands of Ray Mills. Mills sends Perth into attack with a long kick. Out comes Hay, bounce beats him, an opportunity here for Chiddleborough. Over it goes to Paddy Dalton again, danger again for Perth as Dalton sends the ball towards the goals. It's landing just outside. Graham is on the spot for East Perth, brings it away again from about a yard outside the goal line, out to the half-back flank and marked out there safely by Ross Milson. Ross Milson at left half forward. There's the drop kick. Here's Atwell unattended down there and he takes the mark for Perth. The Perth captain coach left unattended, and here you see him in your screen. A rather acute angle in the left full forward pocket. He's only about 15 yards out from the goals. Now Canberra looking almost over his shoulder as he comes in to take the kick, and he makes no mistake. There it goes through the middle, and another goal to the Demons.
Well, as I said in the first quarter, Atwell's provided a king-size headache for the East Perth side, playing at full forward. Has had a run on the ball, but he's been instrumental, I'd say, in, well, 4 or 5 goals that the Perth side have kicked so far.
The thing that amazes me so much about this game, Jack, is the latitude that the defenders give the forwards. I reckon you could still be playing and get a kick here, Jack, at the moment.
If I could stay in the forward pocket long enough.
What are you worried about going to the bar, are you?
I'm going to the ruckman again as Fremantle gets the tap into the ball. Up towards the half-forward flank as O'Donoghue goes after it inside the grandstand. Gets the ball up towards the full-forward pocket position. Bounce beats Ramshaw. Picked up now by Malcolm Brown. Handballed over to Big Pitter. About 15 yards out. Gets it to his beat. Across the face of the goals it goes again. And out of bounds now in the left full-forward pocket.
Vic Edwards has been moved to centre for East Perth and O'Donoghue onto the right half-forward flank.
Well, Vic Evans to the centre, Mark O'Donoghue out on the flank. There's the ball in the Royals forward area, and they certainly need a goal here. Chance for Teeny in the pocket. There's the kick from Teeny, looks good from here. And yes, there's a much needed goal on the board to the Royals from Phil Teeny.
Well, Bob, Teeny's one of the only players that East Perth have got on the ground at the present time. He's played very well at centre half forward. Shifted out there early in the game and done a great job for East Perth. He's eluded his marksman, Shields, and brought up his second goal of the match so far.
There's Phil Teeny now. That makes his tally 117 for the season. He's played 110 games. 7-6 to 6-2 in favour of Perth. Eddie Pitter on the ball opposed to Barry Chiddleborough. Greg Bennett. Chadwick trying to rally his side in the centre. And umpire Ray Scott will bounce down again in the centre of the ground. Chiddleborough taps the ball over to Greg Brio. A good tap there from Chiddleborough. Up towards a half-forward flank. Bradley Smith. No, it's not allowed. Picked up by Jim Haynes. He's been transferred over to this flank. Towards Chadwick and Krepp. Bradley Smith. To Jim Haynes. And Haynes kicks towards centre half-forward. There's a pack of players there, and Graham Edwards, it was a beautiful mark there to bring that one down. Picked it out of the middle of the pack. The kick from Edwards towards the centre. Chiddleborough one-handed. Eddie Pitter. Over to Verstegen. Transfers play to centre half forward and taken by Vic Evans. There's Jackson all on his own out there in the flank. But Evans can't get the ball to him. He'll extra kick towards the full forward area. And taken there by Malcolm Brown. Brown back at full forward. He's deep in the right full forward pocket. About 35 yards out. There he goes for the screw punt kick. It's right up in the square. Ray Lawrence, and Lawrence's kick gets Perth out of trouble towards the flank. The race on between Gillespie and Brio. Gillespie carrying the ball towards a half-forward flank. Ray Mills, and Mills kicks the ball towards the centre. And Grieve takes the mark in front of Pat Dalton. Back to the centre of the ground. Taken by Kennedy, over to Chadwick. There's a kick from Chadwick towards full forward. And the mark has been paid there to Perth, Graham Ramshaw. Ramshaw kicking towards the member stand flank. And towards Tierney and Page. Picked up by Bennett and back towards the centre of the ground. Vic Evans. Oh, nearly brought that one down. Gillespie playing on, and Gillespie takes the kick between centre and centre half forward.
Bob Brio has been brought down onto the half-forward flank and Milson been sent onto the wing.
Well, Greg Brio certainly looks as though he's in trouble there with his ankle. Coming down towards the half-forward flank there. There's play transferred out towards the left half forward flank, and we're 18 minutes in.
There's Kennedy grubbering the ball again up towards Bennett. Bennett taking it on the half back line. Handball goes over and Perth out of trouble again as they get the ball back towards the centre of the ground. Into the air goes Grieve and also Dalton, picked up behind by Ruckman Pitter. And Big Pitter racing over the wing, sends the ball up towards the left half forward flank. Into the air goes Ray Lawrence and also Sid Jackson, and they take it over the line again at left half forward. 7 goals, 6 Perth. East Perth 6 goals, 2. The throw in on the left half forward flank. Sid Jackson going after the ball for East Perth. Teeny trying to gather it up there too. Play on the left full forward pocket. Umpire Scott coming over. The bounce down here in that full forward pocket position for the East Perth side. You're watching the second quarter of the 1967 Grand Final on TVW Channel 7. Thumped away by Eddie Pitter, up onto the edge of the goal square. Here's Page trying to come across, loses possession of the ball, regathers it again and clears out to the centre half back position. Chadwick and creep into the air, over their heads it goes. After the ball now goes Vic Evans of East Perth. Evans gets around, puts the ball to his boot. The kick's not a good one. After it now goes Milson. Handball's over again to Ray Mills. Tapping the ball on as Grieve comes up from half back. Off the ground again by Gillespie. Grieve going after the ball once again for East Perth. Shepherded by Haynes. Brio comes down to meet him. Paddy Dalton going back in. Brio comes out for the ball for Perth. He kicks into Haynes once again. Taken now by Patastoni at left half forward. Handball going over again to Dalton. He's in the left full forward pocket. Puts the ball to his boot, landing right in the goal square. Isiger in the air. Knocked away by McCauley. Page gets the ball over to Bennett. Puts it to his feet. And one flag only.
A lot of fumbles there, Jack, by the East Perth backman.
Well, they're all under pressure, Bob. Perth players and East Perth. East Perth were in a terrible amount of trouble there. It looked like Isigar was a certainty to take that mark, but couldn't hold it. Consequently, it was a big scramble. But I noticed the runners have been out on the ground and quite a few changes look imminent.
7 goals, 7 to Perth. East Perth 6 goals, 2. The kick into play from Lindsay Hay. Into the air goes Terry Fremantle over the top of Cable. Atwell coming in to lend a hand for Perth. Around the ankle was the umpire and Laurie Kennedy to take this kick for East Perth on the half-back line. Kick from Kennedy goes up to the wing. Into the air goes Chadwick to bring down the mark in front of Brio. Chadwick sending East Perth forward up towards their half-forward flank position. And the whistle sounding again. Here's Mark O'Donoghue to take the kick. Shifted out of the centre onto the half-forward flank, and he takes the kick in that position, centres the ball to centre half forward, and puts the ball onto the chest of Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith of East Perth taking the kick. Malcolm Brown breaking from the goals. There's the pass. Donkin going after it. Can't take the mark. Cable comes out as Donkin gets around him. Bouncing the ball out to the left half forward flank. He's under big pressure as he handballs back again to Malcolm Brown. Brown at centre half forward. Dragged to the ground. Socket off the ground by East Perth defenders. After it now goes Ray Mills across the centre for Perth. He puts the ball down to centre half forward. McCauley coming up to meet it, almost loses the ball. Kicked on again by Atwell, taken by Isiger. Over now to Australia. A great chance as he gets his boot to the ball and sends it towards the goals.
Well, Perth are playing too well for East Perth. They're combining well. A lot of teamwork and a lot of help. I think East Perth feeling the effects of perhaps Jackson on the half-forward flank, not moving well, and on that last occasion Donkin had the ball, the opportunity to kick, but elected to have a bounce and eventually lost it. Let Perth in and they brought up their 8th goal.
There's Patastoni there. He's been a good player. 8-7, 55 to 6-2. Patastoni playing his 120th game for Perth, and he's certainly a good ruckman.
There's no doubt that the Perth side look a fresher team than East Perth at the moment, and physically stronger.
There's Bob Page. Sorry, Lou.
It's all right, go on.
Bob Page driving Perth into attack again. Here's a chance for the Demons. Atwell there. In the left ball forward pocket. He's having plenty of trouble picking it up, but he keeps the ball in play to Isiger. Back to Astoni again, and he's missed it. Astoni missed it from 10 yards out for the minor score.
Rob, looks like Brown coming onto the ball for East Perth. Fremantle back up to full forward again. They're using as many ruckmen to try and keep the pressure on Perth as they can.
It was a sad miss by Atwell that time. He fumbled the ball. I think it's age. Maybe the stays were tied a little too tight for him.
There's a kick in from Lindsay Hay. Big Barry Chittleborough quickly plays on the Ray Mills. Mills running in towards full forward. Had plenty of time to kick it. Should have gone back and taken his kick, but he scored the minor score for the Demons. Many opportunities lost by both sides in the forward area. Over anxiousness on the part of all players.
I'd say there's more chances lost by Perth. They should be at least 7 goals in front at the moment.
Chittleborough again in front, but it's taken by Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith, the solid East Perth ruckman, kicking towards the centre of the ground towards Malcolm Brown, and he takes the mark. And Barry Cable there was on the end of a little clip. Umpire Scott says play on, and Vic Evans takes it. Fred Woods.
Well, I reckon that was a shocking. This Scott was looking right at it. Brown had a go at Cable, no two ways about it. The kick should have gone against him.
Well, play goes on up towards the left half forward flank, and it's taken by Terry Fremantle. East Perth certainly need a goal here to come back into it. Terry Fremantle between left half and left full forward. There's a punt kick towards full forward. Ramshaw in front, and it's forced through finally for 1 point. 8 goals, 9 Perth. 6 goals, 3 East Perth. A very handy lead to the Demons at this stage, and neither side using the breeze to any great advantage. Graham Ramshaw. Big crowd here at Subiaco Oval this afternoon watching this grand final. There's the kick from Ramshaw towards centre half back. Bradley Smith, and he takes the mark. Good mark there to Bradley Smith. He's between the centre and centre half forward. There's his kick over the half forward line. And a good mark there to Perth. It looks like Ramshaw from here. No, Richie Riggett was from the back pocket player to take that kick. Out to Ray Lawrence. Lawrence beating Jackson there in that position. Kicks towards the centre of the ground, back to Smith, and he takes the mark. Very strong player, this fellow. Only 18 years old. He's about 6'3" and 14.5 stone. We're 25 minutes into the second quarter of the 67 grand final.
Bradley Smith just forward of the centre circle, puts the ball up towards the centre half forward position. In the air they go. Rothney going after the crumbs for Perth, well tackled by Donkin, handballs away. Ball being relayed back towards the centre, knocked on by Evans. Rothney going back after it again. Here it comes out now to Peter Krepp. Evans still following the ball for East Perth, battling hard out towards the centre wing position. Chadwick going after it now for the Royals. Krepp is right behind him as the ball goes over the line and out of bounds, and a throw to come right on the centre wing position at the Subiaco Oval. You're on the ball on 7 as the ruckmen go after the boundary throw in. Stoney taps the ball down to Peter Krepp. Can't gather it. Grabbed hotly there by big Bradley Smith, and Smith is to take the kick on the right centre wing position for East Perth. Kick from Smith, puts the ball up towards the half forward flank, up to Derek Chadwick. Chadwick going on with the play quickly, puts the ball up towards the full forward zone. Into the air they go. There's a nice mark brought down by Phil Teeney. Plays on, gets around one East Perth player, loses the ball. Hips and shoulders go in as Perth defenders try to force it out. Picked up by Greg Bennett. Perth out of trouble again, bouncing at centre half back. Cable coming up to meet the ball for Perth. Gillespie right behind him, and Cable sends it out onto the chest of Peter Krepp on the left centre wing. Krepp down to centre half forward. Isiger and Macaulay coming up the ground. Can't take the mark. Greaves trying to gather it behind them. Eventually Chittleborough gets the ball over to Milson. Here's Paddy Dalton unattended out on the half forward flank. Takes the ball now. Handballs back again to Isiger. Isiger fumbles badly. Going back after it again. Trying to get the ball back over to Dalton. Laurie Kennedy going after him. There's the whistle sounding in the back, and the kick to go the way of Paddy Dalton out on the right half forward flank. Well, Perth sending the ball backwards and forwards there, and eventually have won the free kick on the right half forward flank. Pat Dalton, the player to take it for them. Here's the kick up on the edge of the goal square. Into the air they go, and Malcolm Atwell takes the mark from behind Lindsay Hay. 27 minutes of play gone in the second quarter, and the Perth captain coach only about 15-20 yards out from the goals, about a 45-degree angle, and a great opportunity to send his side further ahead before the half-time interval. Let's watch Atwell take the kick. The ball to the boot. There it is, no mistake at all, and full points again to Perth.
Well, Atwell playing in the unaccustomed role as full forward brought up his third goal, and certainly the Perth side are killing East Perth with their teamwork and their forward play. East Perth, in contrast to Perth, when they get the ball in the forward line, they seem to be haphazard, trying to run with the ball instead of kicking it, and particularly in this quarter losing it. But Perth, on the other hand, going for the big sticks and getting the major result.
It's 9 goals, 9 Perth. East Perth 6 goals, 3 from the centre bounce down. Bennett going after the ball. Stoney trying to gather it. Bennett goes back in to bring it out for Perth. Down to the half forward line again. Macaulay and Isiger in the air. Dalton going after the crumbs for Perth. He shovels it over again as Milson takes the ball for Perth. Racing over centre half forward. Drop kicks towards the big ones. And it's out of bounds again in the left full forward pocket. 28 minutes into the second quarter. Bob Miller.
Thank you, Brian. Well, there's Mel Atwell there directing his players in the forward area. This is his 201st game in league company, and he's certainly playing well today. Barry Chittleborough in there opposed to Bradley Smith. Eddie Pitter comes in from the back, over to Donkin, but he's flat-footed. He finally recovers and gets the ball up towards Haynes, and he takes the mark at half-back. There's a short pass on again towards Donkin, and Donkin takes the mark, and a little bit of punishment there. Centres the ball towards Eddie Pitter. East Perth very ragged at the moment. Gary Gillespie out to Max Grieve. Looking for Jackson, but he'll have to race Ray Lawrence for this. Jackson and Lawrence in the race for the ball, but Jackson's in front, showing plenty of speed here. Well done, said Jackson. Gets his foot to the ball and centres it to Mark O'Donoghue. Here's a chance for East Perth. And O'Donoghue well off target, and he's put it out of play.
Bob, these are two of the players. Jackson didn't show much limping ability then. He certainly used a lot of speed. O'Donoghue also has been suffering from a groin injury, and these players might be hard-pressed to keep up with it.
29 minutes in, and the ball out of play once again. No, Jackson certainly came into it there, Jack, and showed a surprising amount of speed. Here's a throw-in once again. The Royals battling desperately in that forward pocket. Phil Tierney. He played for holding the man, and he got it. And he gets the kick between right half and right full forward. Tierney switched to centre half forward in that first quarter. East Perth have made many moves to try and stem the tide. And Tierney probably playing the best of their forward line at the moment. He's deep in the right full forward pocket. Here's the leading goal kicker to take his kick. Oh, he tries a drop kick. Gets the distance, but not the accuracy, and 1 point. 30 minutes into the second quarter, and a very quiet crowd here at Subiaco Oval at the moment. Can seeing East Perth getting beaten, and Perth with a very commanding lead. There's a section of the large crowd. And Graham Ramshaw to take his kick into play. There's the kick towards the half-back line. Missed there by Verstegen, but quickly recovers, running towards the half-forward line. Hand passes over to Kennedy, and there's the kick. And Laurie Kennedy has kicked a much-needed goal for the Royals.
Well, Bob, as you said, East Perth need a goal badly, and it looked like Verstegen almost missing it. This has been their pattern of play against the Breeze, to run with the ball rather than kick it, and Verstegen was lucky to get rid of it, I thought, when tackled to Kennedy, and Kennedy bringing up, as you said, a much-needed goal.
There's Laurie Kennedy. Played 212 games, and this is his last league game, and we're 51 minutes into the second quarter. Brian Thurley.
Very little time to go before we hear the half-time siren. 9-9 to 7 goals for. Umpire Scott bouncing the ball again in the centre. Malcolm Atwell up on the ball there for Perth. Graham Edwards there too with Eddie Pitter of East Perth. Pitter goes highest of all to get his hand to the ball. Interference there at the opening, bounce down, and Laurie Kennedy is the player to take the kick for East Perth. Laurie Kennedy playing his final game for East Perth. Sends the ball up to the half-forward line. Pitter into the air. Brings the ball down nicely for East Perth from the centre half-forward position, and here he is with an opportunity to send East Perth forward again. Big ruckman. Sends the ball away into the right full forward pocket. East Perth players into the air. Can't take the mark. Picked up by Bob Shields. Gets his boot to the ball and gets it over the line and out of bounds. Throw it in, says umpire Scott. And the throw to come on the right half-forward flank with 32 minutes of play gone in the second quarter. There's the siren. Half-time at the Subiaco Oval. Perth 9 goals 9, 63. East Perth 7 goals 4, 46.
And at this stage, we welcome viewers at home, as you just heard the scores, 9-9 to 7-4 in favour of East Perth. And some comments on the first half from first Jack Sheedy and Lou Richards.
Well, Lou, I thought that the first half of play definitely been Perth. As we said at the end of the first quarter, Atwell killed them in that forward line in the opening minutes of the game and paid.
Perth are going to make up this leeway. Graham Ramshaw. Usually a reliable kick. His last one wasn't so good, but this one's a better one out towards the flank. Over to Cable. Well picked up in the crumbs. Cable battling his way out. Finally does so and kicks the ball to the centre of the ground. Knocked away by McCauley, but it goes to Milton. Ball back to Stoney, but it's over his head. Missed by Shields. Peter Krepp finally kicks towards the centre of the ground and taken by Derek Chadwick. He's a sure avenue of attack for the Royals. Out to set Jackson, but he's waiting for it. Jackson and Lawrence having a battle out there. Jackson in front. And finally comes out with the ball. But he's centered towards Brown, but it went to Edwards. And he relieves the pressure for the Demons. Graham Edwards kicking towards the half-back flank. Knocked away by Chadwick. Peter Krepp showing plenty of pace to Graham Edwards. He's got plenty of time to kick it and does so towards the centre. Play in the centre of the ground. Back towards Cable. He's the danger man for East Perth. And there's a beautiful kick. Finds Brio. Beautiful pass from Cable. Brio's kick further afield. But Laurie Kennedy comes in to take the mark. 6 minutes into the third quarter at Subiaco Oval.
You're watching the 1967 Grand Final on Channel 7 as Kennedy puts the ball down to the right wing position. Bradley Smith almost putting down the mark for East Perth. Cable on the spot again for Perth, dealing with Donkin. Donkin pulled away without the ball and will take this kick on the right centre wing position for East Perth. Opportunity now for the Royals to go into attack from the right centre wing position. Brown moving around at centre half forward. The kick now down to the half forward position as Brown gets into the air. Ramshaw behind him. Crumbs picked up by Jackson. Can't handle the ball and it's off the ground and out of bounds again on the right half forward flank. 10 goals, 9, 69. Perth leading East Perth 8 goals, 654. Graham Edwards 22, 30 Eddie Pitter as they go for the throw-in. Whistle sounding again at interference of the throw-in, and this time Graham Edwards has to get the kick for Perth on the half-back flank. Edwards retrieving the ball from the crowd, and a big crowd it is too for this 1967 Grand Final. There's the kick from Edwards up towards the wing. Big fellas fly, no one can bring it down. After the ball goes Mills of Perth. Over the line again and a throw to come right on the centre wing position. The left centre wing position for the Perth side, right centre wing for East Perth. Chadwick gathering the ball from the boundary throw-in down towards the right half-forward flank. Lawrence coming up in front of Jackson. Hit nicely out of the way, though. Cable comes in to meet him, too, and it's over the line and out of bounds again. Laurie Kennedy goes after the knock-out attempt this time. Thumps the ball forward. Ray Lawrence coming down to retrieve the ball for Perth. No player near him as he gets around Eddie Pitter. Kicks towards the centre half-back position across the half-forward line and gets the ball under the chest of the teammate. Milson it was. Gillespie winning the ball away from him. Rothney comes over to lend a hand to Milson, handballing into the open spaces and going back to retrieve the ball himself. There's Milson pushed off the kick as the ball lands in the centre of the ground. Players converging on it again. In comes Peter Krepp. Can't swing a boot at the ball though. Players trying to soccer it off the ground. Hips, shoulders go in as Brio eventually picks the ball up, sends it up to the half-forward line. Out from full-back position comes Lindsay Hay with him, Malcolm Atwell. And the kick is going the way of the East Perth defender this time, and Lindsay Hay to take it almost in the centre half-back position. Kick from Lindsay Hay, puts the ball up towards the right centre wing position. There's Mills claiming the mark. A handball's over to Greg Bennett. Perth into attack again towards their half-forward line. Haynes into the air, missed the mark. East Perth trying to come away again with the ball, and Perth to take this kick. Surfs the ball there on the half-forward line, and Patastoni, the ruckman, will take this kick. On he goes very, very quickly, but brought back now by umpire Scott behind the mark to take this kick from the half-forward flank. 10 goals, 9. Perth, East Perth 8 goals, 6, with Patastoni to take the kick for the Demons. There's the kick from the ruckman, the ball landing right up in the goal square. No player can get to the mark and bounces out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
There's the throw in to come in the right full forward pocket. Terry Fremantle in there battling with Atwell. Away comes Perth through Donkin. Kick from Donkin, looking for Malcolm Brown. That knocked away by Shields in the centre of the ground. Brown recovers quickly on towards the half-forward line. Well picked up there by Malcolm Brown. Kick goes astray, but it goes towards Tierney. He's about 30 yards out of chance as he gets his foot to the ball. And here's Hans Verstigan taking the mark. Plays on quickly and boots the ball through for a badly needed goal. East Perth's 9th.
Well, good thinking there by Verstigan. Took the mark, and when the first player fell over, quickly ran on and kicked the goal. But Good play by Malcolm Brown coming down the ground there. Brown was under pressure, was able to get down and scoop it up. And although the kick wasn't a good one, it went in the direction of the forward area. Teeny got it over for Verstegen to bring up a much-needed goal.
Well, Brian, the boys in Vietnam should be viewing this film, and we hope they're enjoying this coverage from Channel 7. 10 goal 9, 69 Perth. 9 goal 6, 60 East Perth. East Perth showing a bit more life in this third quarter. Fremantle getting the knock to Chadwick. There's a kick from Chadwick. It's a long one towards Tierney. Richie Reid coming through from the pocket out to Ray Lawrence. The tackle too high, but umpire Ray Scott says play on. Tackle by Tierney. On the half-forward line, Mark O'Donoghue. Got his foot to the ball, but 1 point only. East Perth showing much more spirit in this quarter, Lou.
Yeah, a lot more spirit, but I tell you what, it looked as though that Lawrence caught a bit of snail disease there at the moment. He should have kicked that a quarter of an hour before he kicked that last one.
I think umpire Scott said the free kick was...
His two teammates were yelling out for him to kick it. Surely the goodness he's not deaf.
Graham Ramshaw now taking a kick into play. Out towards a half-back flank. A good drop kick. Here's Laurie Kennedy setting himself, and he takes the mark. Laurie Kennedy, the veteran East Perth ruckman. There's his drop kick towards full forward. There's Ramshaw and Tierney. That's Sid Jackson from the back. Takes the mark. Sid Jackson, 55 yards out, directly in front of the East Perth goal, and a golden opportunity here to bring with him in 2 points of Perth. Here he comes. The drop punt. Yes, it's through to give East Perth their 10th goal and 2 points behind as we're 12 minutes in.
Well, Bob Jackson's had a bad day. He hasn't looked fit from the moment he stepped onto the field. Been put under pressure all day by Lawrence. He's roamed all over the forward line trying to get kicks, and on that occasion then was sitting in behind the pack when the ball carried over, took the mark and brought up a goal, which may restore his confidence and give him an opportunity of getting right back into the game.
Bounce down again in the centre, the 1967 Grand Final on TVW Channel 7. Once again, the kick going Perth's way from the centre bounce down to be taken by the ruckman Graham Edwards from the centre circle. 10-9 to 10-7, 2 points the difference, and Perth into attack into the breeze. The kick from Edwards up towards centre half forward. No one can bring down the ball. Pat Dalton trying to burst his way up with it, but East Perth come out with the ball through Verstegen out towards the wing position. The race on now. Down from the wing comes Gillespie. O'Donoghue up from the flank. Collision of players in the back, says umpire Scott, and the kick going out here on the left centre wing position to East Perth. Mark O'Donoghue, the player to take it. O'Donoghue sends the ball to centre half forward. Lawrence and also Jackson. Lawrence in front takes the mark for Perth. Goes on quickly, gets his boot to the ball out towards Rothney, who takes the mark. Up towards the wing position for Perth. Centres the ball, looking for Ray Mills. Over his head it goes. In comes Chadwick. Play on, says umpire Scott, as the ball comes out again to Ray Mills, and Perth go into attack again, up to their half-forward line. Down towards Jerry Isager, but once again cleared away by Ken McCauley of East Perth, back towards the wing position where Milson sets himself. Terry Fremantle in there too. Milson going back to counter the crumbs for Perth, gets pulled off the kick. Bennett going in, with him is Gillespie. Gillespie coming out with the ball, can't swing a boot at it either. And their cable going through, straight into Derek Chadwick. Chadwick to take the kick.
How the heck did he get holding the man there, holding the ball?
Not in decision, Lou.
No, Mandrake couldn't have got out of that one, surely.
To the delight of the East Perth supporters, Derek Chadwick to take this kick backward of the centre line for the East Perth side. Kick from Chadwick down towards the half-forward position. Shields and also Brown in the air. Here's Jackson picking up the crumbs behind the pack again. Getting around with a bounce over centre half forward. Handball back again to Malcolm Brown. Handball over again now to Vic Evans. But once again they lose it as Lawrence comes across from the half-back flank. Handball's out now to Ramshaw. Ramshaw going over half-back line. Gets the ball up to the centre wing position once again. And Perth out of danger. Almost marked out there by East Perth. Big Chittleburgh trying to get rid of the ball. Play on now, says the umpire, as East Perth bring it back to their half-forward line again. Onto the chest of Keith Donkin, unattended. No player within about 20 yards of him as Donkin puts the ball down to full forward. Not a good kick. In the way this time, Graham Edwards sends the ball back into the centre. Patterstone capped underneath this one, takes the mark for Perth. Handball's on the page in the centre of the ground. 15 minutes of play now gone.
Well, a mistake there by East Perth allows Perth to go towards the forward area. Bob Graham. Oh, he's in plenty of trouble up there. Bradley Smith trying to come through. Picked up by Malcolm Atwell, and his head pulled off, but he must get the kick. Atwell taking his kick about 30 yards out.
I can't leave this bloke.
Well, Mal Atwell, he's kicked 4. I don't think he's ever kicked that in a football match before, and a great opportunity here to score 5. Here's Mal Atwell, the Perth coach, coming in. There he goes with the punt kick, and it's through, and 5 goals on the board to captain coach Mal Atwell. Well, Atwell's found a new place to play at full forward, and I'd say today I've never seen Malcolm as cool, calm and collecting as he is, because every time the ball goes in the forward line he's collecting either a goal or helping somebody else bring one up for the Perth side. Shows you that backs can play in the forward line, Lou.
This goes to show. I thought Backman never had many brain, but by golly, he's used a lot here today.
11-9.
Medal for the best award of the day.
11-9 Perth, 10-7 East Perth. Stoney taking a tap towards Cable. Umpire Scott looked like he was going to blow his whistle there, but he let play go on.
A bit unlucky, Cable. Scotty put the whistle to his mouth but didn't blow it.
Eddie Pitter and Bob Page. Pitter gets the tap and goes towards O'Donoghue. He's on the half-forward line. Over to Chadwick. The kick from Chadwick to full forward. Graham Ramshaw, he's fumbling in the forward pocket. He threw it, but umpire Scott couldn't see it. Well, that's the right time to see it. He had his back to the umpire. Umpire Scott had no chance of seeing that one, and Perth got away with it. Here's boundary umpire Andy Hocking throwing the ball into play on the half-forward flank. Estonian there with Pitter. Towards Mark O'Donoghue, out to Donkin. Poor Donkin, handballs further afield in the forward area. It's on between the left half and left full forward. And the ball gone out of play once again. There's Mark O'Donoghue just picking himself up after that skirmish. Estonian Pitter once again. Ross Milton gets his kick towards the right wing and out of play in front of the member stand. Well, East Perth making a determined bid to make up this leeway in this third quarter. There's Pitter getting the tap towards the back of the pack. Finally gets the ball himself towards the half-forward line. Brown and Shields. Picked up by Malcolm Brown. He's going goalwards. There's the big punt kick. Floating in towards full forward. It's through. And East Perth have drawn to within 2 points of Perth once again as we're 18 minutes in. Well played by Malcolm Brown. Misjudged the mark, but recovered fairly quickly and was able to break away from the pack that flew for the ball and bring up a much-needed goal. Brian Thurley.
Thanks, Bob. Well, the East Perth blue and black streamers breaking out around the ground now. 2 points the difference. 11-9 Perth, 11-7 East Perth, 75-73. From the bounce down, they try to force it away from the centre circle again. Gillespie going in. Chadwick 2. Cable on the ball 2. And umpire Scott will bounce this one down about 10 or 20 yards away from the centre bounce down circle. Up go the ruckman again, Chiddleborough, and also Fremantle. Over it comes to Mills, taps the ball down. Picked up now by Krepp as he sends the ball out towards the right centre wing position. Bounce beats several players. Milson takes the ball for Perth. Bumped off the kick as it goes up to the half-forward line. Graham out from the pocket, can't take the mark. Picked up by Isager, sends the ball up to the full-forward zone. And there's Lindsay Hay taking the mark in front of Malcolm Atwell. Lindsay Hay on his knees. The Perth player couldn't get the ball over the head of the full-back, and a chance now for East Perth to bring it away from the full-back zone. The kick from Lindsay Hay. High flating punt kick out to the half-back line. Off hands again towards the boundary line. Milson going after it. Tackled by Gillespie. Play on, says umpire Scott, up under the shadow of the grandstand. Perth sent it up to their half-forward line once again. Into the air they go, and marked safely by East Perth up there. Ken McCauley it is, the centre half-back, trapping the ball again on his chest out of that pack to relieve the position for East Perth. McCauley's kick sends the ball again back towards the centre wing. Bob Page high in the air, can't take the mark. Barry Cable bursting his way through the pack. Out comes Big Eddie Pitter. It's the big and the short as Cable and Pitter go after the ball. Eventually it ricochets back into the hands of Page. Page kicks up to the full forward zone and marked safely again in defence by Laurie Kennedy. Kennedy switches play to the far side of the ground. The race on now. After it goes Brio and also Chadwick. Brio winning the day for Perth, takes the ball in front of Chadwick, sends it back again to the half-forward flank position. Patterstone coming up to take the ball for Perth. Patterstone at left half-forward, sends the ball up into the full-forward zone once again. Over the head of Atwell it goes. Gathering the ball in the pocket position, Perth trying to get hold of it again. Laurie Kennedy sending it towards the boundary line, gets it just inside the line, out to the half-back flank, and snaps the ball onto the chest once again of Hans Verstegen marking safely on the half-back flank. East Perth in possession at right half-back. On the far side of the ground, relay the ball down towards the wing position, close to the boundary line again. Still in play though, Bradley Smith trying to take the ball, hotly tackled by Mills, down to the half-forward flank. Lawrence into the air, Jackson waiting for the crumbs behind him, back to the wing again as Bradley Smith tries to gather the ball. East Perth sending it forward. Bouncing over towards centre half forward. Bennett goes in. Ray Lawrence trying to pick up the ball too. Shovels it over eventually to Bennett. Bennett with a high kick back into the centre. Cable's camped underneath the ball and he takes the mark for Perth. Handballs on quickly to Bob Page. Page bouncing over the centre. Sends Perth into attack again up into the full forward pocket position. Bounce beats Graham but goes back after it again. Picked up by a Stoney in the clear going towards the goals. And there's the kick for the ruckman. And he's put it right foot again. 4 points to Medina.
Well, Brian, East Perth far too good for East Perth backmen in their forward line. Perth combining well. They're opening up. Their forward line looks open, and when they get the opportunity, they're able to do something with the ball. By contrast, East Perth's forward line very closed and congested, and players finding it difficult.
12 goals, 9 Perth. East Perth 11 goals, 7. 21 minutes of play gone. Bob Miller.
Thanks, Brian. 8 points the difference in favour of Perth. Chadwick taking the ball away again. Down towards the half-forward flank, and Ray Lawrence is in the hands of the trainers at right half-back. Rothney. Hand pass up towards Milson. He's played quite well for Perth. There's the drop kick towards half-forward. Lindsay Hay. And Hay's kick down towards the half-forward line. Nobody home at all for East Perth, and Bob Shields takes the mark. Shields transfers play back towards Milson. He transferred the play once again towards the half-forward flank. Ken McCauley missed that one. Hezekiah. Bob Graham. Graham very close to the line on the half-back flank. Gives it to Keith Donkin. There's Donkin's kick towards the centre of the ground. Here's a battle of all the midgets. Cable there and Gillespie. Back to Cable. And Cable's kick to the half-forward line and taken by Max Green. 8 points the difference. 81 to 73. Ray Lawrence just getting onto his feet on that half-back flank. And there's a kick to the centre of the ground, but there's nobody home again. And Shields awarded that mark.
Cramp as well, I think. Bob is in trouble, Shields.
Yeah, Bob Shields. Could be his ankle. He has a sore ankle he's had for a few weeks, and he might have done it again. It looks as though he has. And he's given it to Barry Cable. Bad luck for Perth if he has. There's a bad kick from Cable. Up to a Stoney, battling his way through. Barry Chittleborough. Oh, bad hand pass to a Stoney. Allows Chadwick in. Chadwick's battling there on the half-forward flank. Back to a Stoney. Tackled by Haynes. It's anybody's ball there. And umpire Ray Scott will bounce it down. Well, here's Bob Shields in the hands of the trainers here at centre half-back. And he certainly looks as though he's having some trouble.
It's more like cramp at his ankle, Bob, I think, at the present stage.
Jack. He's played quite a solid game at centre half-back on Brown and Teeny. There's Laurie Kennedy getting the tap. And there's the stretcher going around the boundary. Looks like the spectator's been injured. And there's the kick towards half-forward. Jackson Lawrence once again. Graham Edwards. There's the kick in towards the East Perth half-forward line. Laurie Kennedy battling his way through. Well done, Laurie Kennedy. Up towards full forward. It's in an open goal. Verstegen is about 2 yards out, and he's had his head pulled off, and he's backed up the kick. Rothney tackled him too high, and Verstegen will take the kick deep in the left full forward pocket. East Perth 8 points behind, and need this goal here from Verstegen. I don't know what all that's about, Fred. He's right around the net.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I thought he was going to take his head home with him, Bob.
Well, Hans Verstegen, a very acute angle. He's run around, he's up. And there it is, it's a good kick from Verstegen, and he's put it through for a goal.
Well played, Verstegen, his third goal. Used a lot of brains there, not trying to kick right from deep in the pocket and electing to run quickly around. The Perth marksman gave him plenty of opportunity to come around also to bring up another, well, a very needed goal by the East Perth side. They're fighting hard, but just can't seem to get goals easily enough in this quarter.
There's young Hans Verstegen, 12-9 to 12-7. It's a very tight game at the moment, and physical fitness is going to play a very important part in this finish. There's Eddie Pitter getting the tap again. Out towards the half-forward line. Here's the play, as he's called. Gary Gillespie still finishing on. Out towards the wing. Ray Mills, Perth, turned to fumble now. And he's holding the ball. Quite right, umpire Scott. 25 minutes in as Mark O'Donoghue takes his kick on the left half forward flank. Brian Thurley.
12 goals 9 to 12 goals 7. O'Donoghue from left half forward sends the ball over to the centre half forward position. Shields gets into the air for Perth, can't bring down the mark. After the crumbs they go, players falling on top of the ball right at centre half forward, and will be bounced down again by umpire Scott.
Brian, there's 2 or 3 players on the verge of cramp here, and this could be vital.
Players ringing the bounce down once again. Down towards Cable, coming across as Edwards, the ruckman. Jackson going in too, off the ground by Keith Donkin. Ball bouncing into the right full forward pocket, picked up now by Phil Teeney, trying to get around Ramshaw, sends the ball towards the goal. A good effort, Phil Teeney, and 4 points again. East Perth hit the front.
Well, a handy goal there by Teeney, his third for the match, but I must pay tribute to Donkin. Kicked the ball off the ground, not electing to pick it up, and put the boot to it as quick as he could. Good football.
13 goals 7 now. East Perth 12 goals 9. It's 85 points to 81. East Perth coming back to take over a 4-point advantage. A spectator being stretched around the boundary line as umpire Scott ready for the bounce down again in the centre. Pitter and Chittleborough. Chittleborough taps the ball down, taken away by East Perth as Evans kicks the ball down to the half-forward line. Donkin and Richie Rigg. Rigg thumping the ball away. Rothney going over to gather the crumbs for Perth on the half-back flank, sends the ball up towards the wing and puts it over the line and out of bounds. There you can see the spectator being stretched around the boundary line. A big crowd and no doubt passed out in the crush. The boundary throw comes in again. Pitter goes high, thumps the ball down behind the pack. After it now goes Edwards, the ruckman for Perth. Thinks he's boot into it again and gets it over the line, gaining a few more yards of territory on the out of bounds on the centre wing. Ruckman gathering again. 27 minutes of play gone here in the third quarter of the 1967 Grand Final. You're watching it on TVW Channel 7 in Perth. Malcolm Atwell going after the throw-in, picked up now by Edwards, up to the half-forward line. Nobody at home for Perth, and marked safely again in defence by Lindsay Hay.
No one's playing full forward for Perth at the moment, Brian.
Malcolm Atwell's down on the ball as Hay takes the kick up to over the centre line. It goes once again. There's Shields getting his hands on the ball. Atwell going after the crumbs. Malcolm Brown duelling too. In the face, signals umpire Scott, and the kick is going the way of the Perth captain coach. Ball thrown away at 15 yards, says umpire Scott.
Well, we have this sort of business in Melbourne too. It's good to see it coming back into the game. What do they call it, bad temperedness, don't they, or something or other? A fiery young lad, Mel. He'd fit into Melbourne football like a glove. No worries at all.
Plenty of time.
Atwell's taken the kick out to Edwards, and Scott telling him to bring it up.
Looks like he's got to come over, relieve his man. Atwell's a moral to kick it straight over to the fella he's just left.
15 yards.
Well, 15 yards has been awarded. Mal Atwell taking his kick towards centre half forward. First again there, showing plenty of pace, this fellow. Out towards Haynes, but he can't pick it up. And Peter Krepp comes through and takes it towards the half-forward flank. There's his kick, looking for Dalton. Can't get it. And well done there by East Perth. Clear the ball back towards Chadwick on the wing. Kick from Chadwick's a good one, looking for Terry Fremantle. He's opposed to Page. Ray Lawrence comes in, being a reliable defender, and kicks the ball to 2 unattended players. Mal Atwell, nobody home for East Perth whatsoever. There's a kick out towards the flank towards Milton. In comes Macaulay. Oh, East Perth got out of that one. And the ball's gone out of play at right half forward. 85 points to 81. 4 points in favour of East Perth, and we're 29 minutes in. Nilsson picking up once again. Tackle by Gillespie. Too slow to get rid of it. He's a good tackler, this young Gillespie.
The Tiger, this little player, though.
Yes, a real Tiger.
He's been one of East Perth's best players today on that wing.
I think they've made a lot of mistakes this quarter, Perth. They haven't played with any confidence at all, particularly towards the end of this quarter.
There's a kick towards the wing, the grandstand side. Picked up by Graham Edwards. Bradley Smith on his wheel. There's some tired players out there, and they've still got a quarter to go. Gillespie trying to come through once again. Finally does so and been awarded the kick. This kicks towards the centre of the ground, but it's not a good one. Missed by Vic Evans. In comes Brio. And Brio's high kick towards the forward area. Perth need a goal now to boost their spirit. Here's a chance for Cable, but through comes Lindsay Hay. Gets the ball out of danger, but it goes to Pat Dalton. The kick from Dalton towards full forward. And Ken Macaulay comes out with it. Clears towards the far wing towards Chadwick. Chadwick smothers a ball and finally kicks it further afield, or endeavours to, as we're 50 minutes in.
Down there with the right centre wing comes the East Perth captain, Cage. Gets his boot into the ball. Down to the half-forward flank. Jackson going after it. Big Fremantle there too, and over the line it goes, out of bounds on the right half-forward flank position now for the East Perth side. 13 goals 7. Perth 85, East Perth rather. Perth 12 goals 981. And there's the siren for three-quarter time, and the scoreboard 13-7 East Perth 85, Perth 12 goals 981. East Perth holding a 4-point advantage as we welcome viewers at home once again to the three-quarter time interval at the Subiaco Oval in the 1967 Grand Final. Comments from Jack Sheedy.
Well, Brian, I don't know whether East Perth can go on from here. This is a similar situation to last week when everyone thought they would die out. I think the last 10 minutes of that quarter showed that they've still got plenty of spirit left. They've still got Jackson not thoroughly fit on the half-forward line. Whether they can afford to, the luxury of Jackson and O'Donoghue, both who are not going well on half-forward flanks, remains to be seen.
Malcolm Atwell still in the full forward position of the opening bounce down. Players taking up their positions. At the moment we'll see the final quarter underway in the 1967 Grand Final.
Well, this is the quarter these two teams have trained for all the year.
Umpire Scott raises the ball for the timekeepers. You're watching Football on 7, the bounce down of the final quarter of the Grand Final. Taken away by Milson to put Perth into attack. Bounces in front of Hay, but traps the ball nicely. Gets it back into the centre of the ground once again. Over the head of Haynes. Taken by Big Chittleborough. A chance for Perth, but his drop kick goes down to full forward territory. Bradley Smith flying with one hand. Crumbs picked up by Astoney. Over now to Wissaga. Into an open goal. Up 4 points to Perth. They take the lead again.
Good play by Wissaga and Astoney there. Astoney quite sure on the forward line, and Wissaga handballing over to Wissaga made it quite easy for him to kick a goal.
Malcolm Atwell will be very pleased to see that first quick goal in the opening seconds of the final quarter. 13-9. Perth come back to take the lead. 13-7 East Perth. 2 points the difference in favour of the Demons, going with the breeze in the final quarter.
See Bob Graham going up there, Jack.
Perth have got two rovers, Jensen and Cable, both on the ball at present.
Graham's gone up into the centre bounce down too. There, the ruckman flying for the bounce down. Out with the ball comes Chadwick. Can't swing a boot at it though. Milson does so. Doesn't gain much territory with it. Fremantle going in. Hips, shoulders, everything going in. Haynes tries to gather the ball. Graham coming out. Gets around the Perth player. Caught there by Chittleborough. Goes on and gets his kick back into the ball. Up to the centre half forward position. The Royals go into attack. Many hands get on the ball. Taken by Ray Lawrence. Handball out into the open spaces. And here's Perth out of trouble as Rothney gets his boot into the ball down to the half-forward line. Brio can't handle it. After it now goes Max Greaves and half-back for East Perth. Gets around in an arc and drives the ball back to the half-forward line for the Royals once again. Here's the crumbs behind the pack, taken away once again by Lawrence of Perth. Back to the half-forward line. Macaulay comes up. Bounce beats him. Opportunity for Perth. Knocked on by Wissaga. Down to Astoney. Handball back again to Bob Page. Picked up now by Ray Mills. Handball over to Jensen. Jensen racing towards the goals. The ball going up to the full forward zone and scoring in for 4 points.
Oh, lovely goal to Jensen there, coming down quickly, using all the pace he had and getting the hand pass nicely from Ray Mills. Hooked the ball and with the aid of the breeze brought up a lovely goal to the Perth side.
He's a good goal getter, this fellow. He's kicked many goals for Perth, and that was certainly a beauty.
Well, the Perth side making the task very difficult for East Perth. Perth 14 goals 9, 93. East Perth 13 goals 7, 85. After the bounce down, thumped away by Pitter. Krepp going after the ball now for Perth. There's the push, says the umpire, and the kick is going Perth's way, and Peter Krepp will take it midway between the centre and half-back lines for the Demons. Handballs over to Barry Cable. The Cable drop kick comes down to the centre half-forward position. Into the air goes Chittleborough. Can't take the mark. Over to Atwell. Atwell racing towards the goals again. It bounces away to the left-hand side. And through it goes. One hand up from the goal umpire, behind on the board. And we're 3 minutes into this final quarter of the Grand Final.
14-10, Perth 94. Lead East Perth 13-7, 85. And there's a kick from Lindsay Hay out towards a half-back flank. Over the back of the pack. Laurie Kennedy centering the ball. Knocked away from Evans. Bob Graham. Bob Graham playing well up the ground there. Out to the flank towards Jackson. Jackson hesitating. Finally comes in with the ball. Up towards full forward now, but there's nobody home for East Perth. But there is. Through comes Garnett from somewhere. Gets the ball and puts it through for 1 point. Two East Perth players waiting in the square. but he hooked it through for 1 point.
Big chance there, Bob. He could have elected to try and kick a goal. Had he have got it over to those players, well, they'd had no trouble whatsoever running in and bringing up a goal.
Well, some tired players on both sides, and they've certainly got to lift themselves to play this final quarter. 94 points to 86 in favour of the Demons, and Graham Ramshaw to take the kick into play. He's played a solid game at fullback all day. Here's the 6'1" goalkeeper to kick it in. Oh, it's not a good kick. It doesn't get much distance, but right in the arms of Ray Lawrence. Little bit of luck counts a lot in this last quarter, and Pat Dalton takes a good mark in the centre of the ground. Dalton switched to the centre in this final quarter. Ray Mills on the half-forward flank. There's a high kick from Dalton towards the half-forward line. Oh, missed there by Max Greaves. Through comes Duncan. Picked up by Gillespie. Holding the ball, screams the crowd, but play on. Ross Milson. Knocked on over the back of towards Jensen. Luck of the bounce here right away. And umpire's got the bounce down on the right half-forward flank for Perth.
Bob, Perth are still playing two rovers on the ball. Cable and Jensen both roving, and Graham forced to follow them up the field.
Well, Jensen came on as a fresh man. There's Pitter getting the tap towards Jim Haynes, but it's out of play. Each Perth certainly need a goal here to keep their hopes alive. There's Eddie Pitter. He's played a good game on the ball. Picked up by Bob Graham. Over to Verstegen. Oh, Verstegen battling his way on the wing. He's gone too far. Hans Verstegen ran too far with the ball, endeavoured to get his kick, and Perth to take the free.
We've seen this happen many times today with these Perth trying to run with the ball.
Paddy Dalton to take the kick out there on the far wing. There's the drop kick from Dalton. It's a good one towards full forward. Half forward, I should say, and marked there by Jim Haynes. Jim Haynes kicking towards the flank, looking for Duncan. But it's gone out of play on that far side of the ground. Can East Perth lift their tired legs to get these goals needed? Eddie Pitter still on the ball. Gets the tap, but it goes to Cable. And there's another good drop kick from the rover. Right down towards full forward. There's Atwell over the back of the press. He's running into the square. There goes his feet. And there's a golden pass to give them their 50. 6 minutes in.
Well, I think Lou Rich is going to take Atwell back to Melbourne. We didn't know that he was ever a full forward before, but he had the drop then on Hay. Hay playing the front position, trying to do it right. Atwell had the drop on him, was going to put the knee into him, missed the mark, but quickly recovered and brought up the 4 points.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Brains will beat Brawn any time, won't it?
Certainly will. They're using plenty of brains today.
Lou's been in love with him ever since the start of the game.
Well, I nominated him early in the piece, and I don't think he's let me down at all.
Hey, I tell you, a lot of Perth supporters are as well.
Comments there from Jack Sheedy and Lou Richards. 100 up for Perth. 15-10 East Perth, 13 goals 8. From the centre bounce down, Donkin trying to send East Perth forward. Edwards racing after the ball for Perth. Picked up now by John Garnett down from the half-forward flank. Up towards the half-forward line it goes. Donkin going after the ball again. Rothney gets hold of it, can't gain much territory with it though. Donkin back in the band again for East Perth. Over now towards Teeny. He can't swing a boot at the ball either. Eventually someone kicks it up in the air, up towards the half-forward line and onto the chest of a Perth player in Graham Ramshaw, and Ramshaw will bring this one away from the full-back position for Perth. Ramshaw goes to the far side of the ground. Bounce beats an East Perth player, picked up by Eddie Pitter. Hand pass goes over towards Bradley Smith. Smith manages to get around Rothney. There's his kick up to the full forward zone. Brown into the air. Over now towards Phil Teeny. Teeny held away from the ball and will take his kick on the half-forward line for East Perth. East Perth badly needing a goal to bring themselves back into the game and to keep within striking distance in this final quarter. Phil Teeny, the Western Australian leading goal kicker, lining up the shot. There's the ball on its way. Has the distance, I think, over the top of the graping fingers, and 4 points to East Perth and another goal to the Royals.
Well, East Perth certainly needed that goal, and Teeny steered that torpedo punch through very nicely. Brought up his 4th goal of the match, but
15-10 to 14-8 in favour of Perth. 8 points the difference. Umpire Ray Scott bouncing down in the centre. Mel Brown come on the ball now. Knock goes away of Vic Evans. Kick from Evans, out looking for Garnett on that far flank. He's Rothney's with him, knocked away by Rothney, over to Milson. Milson there, tackled by Gillespie. Picked up by Grieve, there's the kick, but it goes the way of Jensen. Through comes Grieve once again to drive East Perth into attack towards the half-forward line. Missed by Tenney, but picked up by Donkin. He's chased by Cable. Donkin on the half-forward line, taken by Graham. Graham with the chance to kick a goal, the back pocket player. There he goes. And it's touched through. Bob Graham, the back pocket player, for 1 point.
Rob, I don't go along with this, though. These players are all trying to win the game off their own bat instead of trying to play a bit of teamwork. They're not looking for anyone at all bar the goals and running and continually bouncing.
93 points to 100 in favour of the Demons, and Ramshaw kicking in towards the right half-back flank. Here's Mel Brown setting himself. Comes out with the ball, gives it to Pitter. Towards Garnett, Tierney. It's in the left full forward pocket for East Perth. Verstigan there battling. And there's the snap kick. And once again it's fought through for the minor score. 1 goal the difference. 15-10 Perth, 14-10 East Perth.
Well, that ball's come out of goals now and gone up the centre of the ground, followed by Hay. Perth have only got 3 men in their forward line.
And the 2 runners on the ground, Brian Ashbolt for Perth and Jack Clayton for East Perth, and the crowd going wild. 1 goal the difference, 1 kick in it. There's Graham Ramshaw with not a good kick. It'll go to Garnett, and Garnett takes the mark between left half and left full forward. Well, a couple of kicks there, Graham Ramshaw. It's usually a good kick, but the last couple have let him down. Garnett.
Fresh player, Bob, should be able to get the distance or go for the drop punt, and if he allows for it, the breeze could steer it in.
Yes, he's got a cross breeze to kick with Jack. Here's John Garnett. The drop punt, and it's floating in towards goals, but it won't get there. Look at that pack in the goal square, and it's taken by Bob Shields. How he got that one, I'll never know, but he pulled it out of the pack. But a bad kick towards the forward line. Bob Page. Page on the half-back line, kicks towards the wing. Ray Mills, and Mills takes the mark. Ray Mills kicking towards centre-half forward. Barry Chittlebar over the back. Jim Haynes to Lindsay Hayes. Good play. There's the kick from Hay, but he's put it into a nest of Perth players, and Barry Cable takes the mark in the centre of the ground.
Well, a chance there, Bob. There was, if any East Perth players had been there, they had a chance, but he kicked it right to the Perth players.
Barry Cable with the ball in the centre of the ground. Been consistent for Perth without being the dynamic player that he usually is. And let's watch this drop kick. And there it is, another beautiful 55 to 60 yarder. A chance here for Jensen trying to break through. Larry Kennedy comes out, gives it to Donkin. Donkin's on the half-back flank. East Perth fighting back desperately. There's a kick towards the right wing. Bob Graham setting himself. Out of bounds, says boundary umpire.
Could have easily been given the kick, Jack.
And he'll throw the ball in.
He didn't go for the ball.
Terry Fremantle on the ball. Knocked out of bounds by Malcolm Atwell, who's put himself on the ball. 15-10 to 14-10. 12 minutes into the final quarter of the 67 grand final.
They're on the ball on 7 from the throw-in. All the face signals the umpire.
Is that right, Fred Woods?
A little bit gentle.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit gentle.
Terry Fremantle.
Doesn't think so.
Terry Fremantle, the player to take the kick. Onto the boot, up towards the half-forward line. Diving after the ball goes Crep. Taken away there by Laurie Kennedy. East Perth into attack up to their half-forward flank position. Into the air they go. Taken away again by Ramshaw of Perth. He kicks over to the centre of the ground. The race on now. Players converging on the ball. Hay comes up. Bounce beats him. Taken by Jensen. An opportunity now for the Demons as Jensen drives down to full forward. Racing back Macaulay and Issachar. And Macaulay saves the day, marking the ball on the edge of the goal square for East Perth. Ken Macaulay. Drop kicks into the Issachar. Out it comes towards Haynes. Picked up by Australia. The long hand pass to Issachar. Unattended into an open goal and 4 points again to Perth.
Well, that was certainly a costly one, that one of Macaulay's. Kicked into the man, got it over to Haynes. Haynes couldn't get it away, and Issachar came in, took the hand pass from Australia and popped through a very easy goal.
16 goals 10, 106 Perth, leading East Perth 14 goals 10. That stretched the margin to 2 goals the difference in favour of the Demons in the final quarter of the 1967 grand final. You're watching it on Channel 7 in Perth. The crowd finding its voice in this final quarter. Umpire Scott ready to set the game in motion again. Up go the ruckman. Chittlebarrow takes the ball unopposed. He's dragged to the ground before he can do anything with it. and the kick is going the way of Derek Chadwick, the East Perth captain coach, and an opportunity now to send his side into attack again into the breeze. The kick from Chadwick on very quickly, looking for Evans. Evans almost takes the mark, regathers the ball though from right half forward, sends it up towards the full forward pocket position and brought down by Eddie Pitter up from the full forward pocket.
Look at the runners and
trainers and runners screaming onto the ground in all directions as Pitter lines up this shot now for East Perth. They want this one very, very badly as he sends the ball on its way. Wrong side of the post though for the Royals. Another point is registered. 1 goal, 5 the difference. And Ramshaw to bring the ball into play again for Perth. Graham Ramshaw takes the kick in from the goal, straight down the centre of the ground come the Demons this time. Into the air goes Teeny, knocked away by Chittleborough. Jackson comes in. Evans trying to come out with a big Chittleborough trying to burst his way out. Through comes Fremantle, up towards the full forward pocket again. Bouncing over in the shadow of the grandstand, it goes out of bounds on the half forward flank with 15 minutes of play gone here in the final quarter of the grand final.
Well,
Bob Miller.
Halfway through the quarter, thanks Brian, with an 11-point lead to the Demons. Here's Perth coming out through Ray Lawrence. Lawrence kicks to the centre of the ground. Haynes with the sun in his eyes, but he takes it on to Laurie Kennedy. The kick from Kennedy towards Teeny. He's at Verstigan it is. Sock it off the ground. Back comes Verstigan and Teeny fighting like tigers there, and umpire Scott will bounce it down on that half-forward line. Still anybody's game. 11 points in favour of Perth. And young Verstigan there looks as though he's got a cork. Knocked away by Chittleborough over towards the flank. Out to Ray Lawrence. Lawrence tackled hard and holding the ball, says umpire Ray Scott.
That player ran straight on. It was Horwood running straight onto the ground there, and East Perth player must have been taken off. It is Fremantle being taken off the ground.
And Angus Horwood just coming onto the ground, claimed Ray Lawrence there, and he'll take the kick on that right half forward flank. Well, has East Perth got the physical fitness to come up and make up this 11-point leeway? Angus Horwood with the ball. His first kick of the match, and it's a high drop kick towards the right full forward pocket. And out of play in that position. Horwood on the ball now, opposed to Graham Edwards, and Mal Brown's in there. Brown gets the tap. Wild hit-outs now are going anywhere. Mal Atwell. Hand pass towards Cable. Cable on the half-back flank, and there's another good drop kick towards the half-forward line. Laurie Kennedy strong in defence. He's got no one to kick it to whatsoever, and it must go the way of Perth here once again. Cable, he's got no one to kick it to, and it goes back to Lindsay Hay, playing a loose man at the moment. Oh, the kick from Hayes, not a good one, and it finds Patastoni.
Players, Bob, getting the ball and can't find anyone to kick it to.
He certainly can, Jack. There's the kick from Patastoni to half-forward flank. Jim Haynes. Oh, he shrugged that player off and got his kick, and it'll go back to Perth, and Cable takes the mark. Kick to kick. Out to Ray Mills. He's on the left wing. The kick from Mills towards the half-forward line. Lindsay Hay, but he can't take it. It goes to Pat Dalton. Hits the ball going goalwards. A race between Issachar and Grieve. Grieve gets there first. It's picked up by Lindsay Hay in the pocket, and he clears the ball to the half-back line. Very tight football in the 67 grand final. 106 points to 95. 18 minutes in, Brian Thurley.
Thanks, Bob. The throw-in coming on the left half-forward flank position. The ruckman gathering here. Chittleborough, Bradley Smith, Patastoni, Angus Horwood. Down the ball comes towards Jensen. Jensen getting around at left half-forward, screws the ball back in front of the goals, and coming out of defence again, safely brought down by Ken McCauley. Ken McCauley puts his boot to the ball, very close to the boundary line again, and out of bounds it goes on the half-back flank. Ruckman coming over after the throw. Bradley Smith trying to burst his way through. Cable in there too. Into the face as the umpire Scott, the kick going Cable's way on the left half-forward flank for Perth.
Silly play there.
No good to East Perth. This, they want the ball now and getting up the field. It's no good having a dash at players now. I think they've got to go on with the game.
Here's Cable taking the kick on the half-forward line. Shoots the ball over onto the chest of Pat Dalton. Well, Perth holding the lead, 106 points to 95. The short pass on again to Jensen. In the way, Jim Haynes. Jensen comes down with the ball. Play on, says the umpire. Grabbed by Evans. And he'll take the kick at centre-half back for East Perth. Now the crowd roaring their head off now in this grand final, the final quarter. You're watching it on Channel 7. Evans at centre-half back to take the kick for the Royals. Out to the half-back flank it goes. And safely brought down out there by Keith Donkin. Donkin shoots the ball out towards the left wing, looking for Chadwick out there onto the seam. Perth take the mark through Peter Krepp. And Krepp again to send the Demons into attack from the right centre wing. 16-10 Perth, East Perth 14 goals 11. The kick from Krepp looking for Dalton. Knocked away again by East Perth. Here's Teeny gathering the ball down on the half-back line. Over it goes to Evans. Evans racing over centre. Sends East Perth into attack with a long drop kick. Up to the full-forward zone it goes. Brought down by John Garnett up there.
I can't understand Perth. They've got the strong wind behind them, yet they're going for short passing. To me, it seems quite ridiculous.
It's playing waiting time, Lou, trying to waste as much time as possible.
I don't think it's necessary. I think if you're the better side, you keep on attacking. That's the only form of defence, isn't it?
Here's the kick from John Garnett. Sends the ball on its way. Wrong side of the post again, though, for East Perth. Another point goes to a tally. It's 96 points to 106. Graham Ramshaw to bring this ball back into play again. 16-10 to 14-12. 10 points the difference.
Well, a vital kick here for Ramshaw. He can't miss kick here, or it'll be a loss to Perth.
Graham Ramshaw with 50,000 eyes on him as he comes in to take this kick back into play. Here it comes, out towards the half-back flank. Stoney and Horwood setting themselves forward, gets the Stoney out of the road and takes the mark. But the kick going the way of the Perth ruckman on the half-back flank. Here's Pat Stoney in the shadow of the grandstand now, bringing the ball away from the defensive zone for Perth.
Shittlebar up and Wilson on, Brian.
Wilson on the ground now, the 20th man for Perth. The low ball is marked there by Jim Haynes, almost up on the centre wing. Handball's over to Chadwick. Chadwick sends the ball up to the half-forward line. Perth in the way again. Stoney coming across, having trouble handling the ball. Handball goes over quickly now to Barry Cable. Cable bouncing the ball towards the centre. There's the pass looking for Mills. Hits that player on the chest. Mills going on quickly. Shoots the ball down to full forward. Macaulay and Isiger battling. Neither can take the mark. Picked up by Brio. Over to Jensen. An opportunity for the Demons to seal the game. The ball on its way.
Well, Jensen's been a very handy player since he's come onto the ground. That's his second goal so far, and I think that's put a big enough gap between the two sides now for Perth to go on and win it. East Perth very tired. Perth still with Cable and Jensen going great guns.
17-10, 112 Perth.
21 minutes in, Bob.
To 14-12, 96 East Perth. 21 minutes in, about 8 or 9 minutes to go. East Perth, courageous game in this last quarter, but certainly dying hard. There's Atwell battling for the ball in the centre, and he'll be awarded the kick. Perth captain coach. Been a great day for Atwell. And he's given it once again to Cable. Cable gone for the punt kick this time towards left half forward. Pattistoni and Bradley Smith to Ray Mills. Here it goes towards half forward. Missed there by Haynes. Max Grieve. A chance for Greg Brio on the half forward flank. Oh, Horwood there using his body. To Bradley Smith, some tired players there. They can't lift their legs. Graham Jensen. Still on the half-forward flank for the Demons. Ross Milson, well picked up by Milson. In towards full forward and through for 1 point. Looks as though East Perth are gone at this stage, Lou Richards.
Well, I thought that from the beginning of the last quarter. I didn't think the margin that they had, East Perth, was great enough to hold Perth for this strong win.
Jim Haynes taking the kick in this time. Here's the 2/19th men. Wilson battling with Horwood. To Hans Verstegen. Kick from Verstegen towards the centre. Bob Shields. Shields still on that half-back flank. Gets his foot to the ball towards the wing, and it's out of play. 17-11 to 14-12 in favour of the Demons.
Jack, the way Angus Horwood's going on out there, I don't think you better make any arrangements for Tuesday night.
Those comments from Fred Woods, and Laurie Kennedy kicks the ball out of play. There's been the umpire, Peter Snow. Plenty of work today, throwing the ball in. Noel Wilson getting the tap. It goes to Verstigan. Neither player can get it away. Allowed to go on and picked up by Cable. And there's another good drop kick from this player. He's kicked beautifully today. Ken Macaulay. This young player, solid in defence, takes the mark. Plenty of excitement in this last quarter. The punt kick up towards the flank, and it's out of play. Well, East Perth will have to get it over to the centre of the ground if they want to put goals on the board. Angus Horwood there on the ball, opposed to Patastoni and Noel Wilson. To Ray Mills, well picked up in towards full forward. Macaulay again, and he marks. What a great season this young player's had in his first year. Very close to the flank, and it's gone out of play. But I think that extra game's telling on East Perth, Jack.
Well, the extra games are, Bob, but they should be going the other side of the ground and try and have a go at anything to try and get a goal at this stage.
Here's Patastoni. Noel Wilson. Lindsay Hay. Hayes kicked towards the half-back line, missed by Atwell. Derek Chadwick trying to battle his way through. Too high, says umpire Scott, and Chadwick to take his kick. Derek Chadwick driving his side forward towards the wing. Missed by Vic Evans. Picked up by Peter Krepp. There's his kick towards the half-forward flank. The ball's drifting out of play, and players are too tired to chase it. 25 minutes into the grand final of 1967.
You're watching it on Channel 7. After the throw-in, Horwood trying to come away with the ball. Drops it to his boot. Up it comes to Bob Graham. Graham on the half-back line. Bounces the ball past umpire Scott. Up towards the centre he goes. Puts East Perth into attack again. Through come the Perth defenders. Edwards going after the ball there, forces it over the line again. We'll have a throw-in midway between the right centre wing and right half-forward flank position for the East Perth side. Player changing his shorts in the centre of the ground is Wilson as the ball thrown into play again. Up they go. Edwards gets the tap into it and thumps it out of bounds once again. The scoreboard, Perth 17 goals 11, East Perth 14 goals 12. After the throw-in they go again. Wilson gets the ball down to Ray Mills. Mills onto the boot, down to the half-forward flank. The only player here is Bradley Smith, and he's untroubled to take the mark. Goes on quickly, gets the ball to his boot. Up towards the wing position it goes. Can't be reached by the East Perth player Verstigan, and the ball will be thrown in again on the centre wing. 26 minutes into the final quarter of the 67 grand final. Pitter goes high, thumps the ball down in front. Picked up now by Wilson. Around the neck there, says the umpire, and Peter Krepp to take the kick for Perth from the left centre wing. Patastoni calling for the ball down here on the half-forward flank as Peter Krepp comes in for his kick. Centres the ball there towards the centre half-forward position. Dropping back, Jim Haynes has got his sights on it, can't take the mark. Scooping through now is Paddy Dalton. Handballs over now to Isiger. Isiger lining up the goals. There's no player in the goal squares. The ball goes on its way and it's through for full points again. And that seals the 67 premiership for Perth.
Isiger kicked that goal, his fourth goal of the match so far, and immediately got cramp, went to the ground, and Paddy Dalton standing over him now trying to relieve him. These players very, very tired indeed.
Scoreboard, Perth 18 goals 11 now, 119. East Perth 14 goals 12, 96.
Isiger in plenty of trouble out there at the moment.
There's some tired players out there after this grilling 1967 grand final in its final minutes with 27 minutes of play gone. At the bounce down, thumped on again by the Perth captain, Cage Atwell. Through comes Vic Evans to take the ball for East Perth. They're not giving in. Back towards their half-forward line it goes, and marked safely there by Phil Teeney just forward of the centre circle. East Perth go forward up towards their half-forward flank position. A pack camped underneath the ball and brought down safely in defence by the back pocket player for Perth, Richie Rigg. Rigg sends the ball back towards the wing position once again. Into the air they go. East Perth almost taking the mark. Taken by Phil Teeney. Over now to Gillespie. Gillespie sends the ball up to the half-forward flank position and taken by Verstigan out there. Well out on the boundary line at left half-forward for East Perth. There's the kick from Verstigan. Sends the ball right up into the goal square. The big pack into the air. Brought down again by Perth as they scoop the ball away. Page it was, gets it out to the half-back line. Donkin takes the mark for East Perth, and he'll send this one back into the attacking zone again. Keith Donkin, the East Perth Raver, has the short pass on, gives the ball to Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith from centre half forward. Up on the edge of the goal square goes the kick. East Perth take the mark up there. John Garnett is the player. And here he has the ball very, very close to the goals. A rather acute angle. Umpire Scott coming over to put the Perth player on the mark. John Garnett coming in to take the kick. Sends the ball on its way. Full points for East Perth. 28 minutes into this final quarter of the 67 grand final.
Well, a little belated, I think, for East Perth's sake anyway, but a very good goal by Garnett, certainly showing his form on the half-forward flank and now at full forward for East Perth since he's come on the ground. Tall player, young player. Could go very well next year.
18-11 now, Perth. 15 goals, 12 East Perth. Bob Miller.
Thank you, Brian. 18-11 to 15-12, and certainly looks the premiership in Perth's keeping, but East Perth not giving in. Malcolm Brown, a mighty hit towards the half-forward line. Ray Lawrence, been a very solid defender all day for Perth. Back to Gillespie. East Perth going out towards the far flank. But there's another kick. Many of their short passes have gone astray, and Ian Rothney comes in. 29 minutes in. Over the half-forward flank for the Demons. There's Brio bursting his way through to get his kick towards the full forward area, towards the goal, and finally pushed out of bounds by Ken McCauley on that right full forward flank. Well, there's not a player within about 40 yards. The ball went down that quickly. And boundary umpire Andy Hocking finally coming in. Palestinian Eddie Pitter. Ken McCauley. To Larry Kennedy. There's the kick from Kennedy. Could be possibly his last kick in league football, this fellow. He's a great career. Bob Graham, but he's hesitant. Still battling, picked up by Graham Edwards. And back to Graham Jensen. And he's taken the mark at centre half forward. Jensen brought on the reserve at three-quarter time. 30 minutes in, Jensen with the ball at centre half forward.
Well, all the small boys have camped on the boundary line, ready for the final bell.
Waiting for the siren to go, huh? And here's Graham Jensen. The torpedo punt kick, drifting towards full forward. It's a good kick, very close to the line, and forced through for the minor score. 3 goals exactly the difference now, 18-12 to 15-12 in favour of the Demons, and there you can see the kiddies over the line there waiting for the siren to go. Out to Larry Kennedy. Still battling on this veteran, and there's his kick to the half-back line. Mal Atwell and Chadwick, the 2 captain coaches. There's Horde in there, throwing his weight around, supported by Chadwick, picked up by Jim Haynes. Horde just waiting to shepherd there, but it wasn't necessary. Up towards the flank. A push in the back to Ray Lawrence. East Perth can do nothing right at the moment. And Ray Lawrence, a half-back flanker to take his kick. Ray Lawrence steadying things down. A slow-motion hand pass over to Graham Edwards. The game slowed down now as Jim Haynes takes the ball. Lindsay Hay grabs it. And we're 31 minutes in to the last quarter.
There's Perth bringing the ball back again into a nest of East Perth players. Donkin after it, bursting his way through as Wilson, taken away there by Keith Donkin of East Perth. He's running on with plenty of dash in his final quarter, kicks the ball into the centre, and there's the siren. We welcome viewers at home with the scene at Subiaco Oval. Perth have just won their second consecutive grand final. Perth 18 goals 12, 120, defeating East Perth 15 goals 12, 102.
This game today. They looked the better side from the word go when Atwell positioned himself at full forward. He was the architect of their forward moves today. When he was in the forward line there, he was tapping the ball over to Dalton, gave Dalton a berth or an armchair ride on the half-forward line, played very well himself, kept the forward line open and kicked. I think he finished the game with 6 goals, which was certainly a wonderful thing for Malcolm Atwell in his second successive grand final. But East Perth tried hard. I think they may have paid the penalty of playing some injured players. Lou, what did you think?
Well, it was quite obvious that Jackson wasn't the force that he's made out to be. I've never seen the boy play, but apparently he's a top player, and today he didn't show any of this brilliance that he showed in the match previous. That was the preliminary final when he kicked 7 goals from a half-forward flank. And there's no doubt about it, you must be 100% fit to play in these final matches, particularly on a day like this when fitness really tells. It's most important that you've got to be 100% fit to play in a final match.
Lou, Malcolm Atwell in our screen there was just being cheered off. Certainly a triumphant day for him.
Well, I think he was the brains behind the win for Perth. He came up for a bit of criticism, I think, for not letting people know exactly what he was doing, but it certainly paid dividends, and when he was placed at full forward at the beginning of the game, this created quite an interest as far as the crowd were concerned, but it proved right again, and he was no doubt the main force behind Perth winning this premiership. They had many good players too. The boy in the centre impressed me a lot, Dalton. I thought he was a very creative player, and he worked in very well with with Atwood full forward, when Atwood was playing at full forward and Dalton was playing on a half-forward flank. Perth, East Perth, they were quite... I think the 3 games may have affected them too. I looked at a very tired side towards the end of the match, and Perth seemed to finish a fresher team. And at the final stage of that last quarter, they were doing as they liked as far as getting the ball down to their forward line.
Certainly going very easy in that last quarter. They had some good players in Teeny. I thought battled very hard all day. Pitter and young Gillespie on a wing did great things for the East Perth side. Teeny for East Perth.
I thought he was their best player, Jack.
Well, that's it. East Perth, not good enough. Perth by far the better side. Freddie Woods from the umpiring angle, Ray Scott.
Well, they gave a very good exhibition all day, Jack. Early in the game, I thought Scotty's a little bit hesitant in his umpiring, but I think umpires are like players. He's suffering a little pre-match nerves, but as he settled down and the tempo of the game started to build up, I thought he handled it very, very well. Full control all day. An end of a good season for Scotty. He's had a tremendous season, and for 4 quarters, a very good exhibition.
Well, congratulations to Mal Atwell. He's created history at the Perth club. They've won their 2nd premiership in a row. They've only won 4 in the history, and Mal Atwell's taken them to 2 in a row. A great day for the Perth club today.
There you can see the scene at Subiaco Oval, the crowd of approximately 50,000 people streaming away from the ground. The East Perth man on the scoreboard's taken it down very, very quickly. We'll repeat it for you. Perth 18 goals, 12, 120. 18, 12, 120. Defeated East Perth 15 goals, 12, 102. East Perth winning their 2nd consecutive grand final by a margin of 18 points. You saw it on the Channel 7 football playback.